Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Trigger Mike Show. Today is Thursday, February 2nd, 2023. Thank y'all for rocking with me this morning. Yep, we're here today, a little later than usual, but just trying some things out. You know, we're always glad to have everybody come in on the Lapeef Network to check out all the programming we got. Greetings and thanks to you. Salute to everybody in the chat. If you have not, go ahead in that corner and like and subscribe. While you're doing that, I also want you to look in that row right around the like or subscribe button. You're going to see a button that may say share. I want you to share this content out with everybody in your text group, your group chat, your Instagram chat, or your Facebook news feed. Just hit that button, share it out to the group. Let people know this is what you are watching early in the morning. We're here to get people through their boring ass workday. All right. If you're working from home, if you're sitting in an office able to put those earbuds in, please put those earbuds in. We talk about some sensitive stuff up here. We don't want anybody to lose their job. Okay. Please make sure to put those earbuds in, those headphones on to keep things kosher with you and your place of employment. Trigger Mike does not accept any responsibility for hurt feelings nor pink slips. All right. Just putting that out there. Much love to everybody today. Let's see who we got in this chat. Please make sure to like, subscribe, get those likes right up. Share this out, share this content out to your Facebook group, Instagram chats, TikTok groups, anything, whatever, what have you. Please spread the word that the Trigger Mike Show is the best show on YouTube. We get down to the bottom of it. We talk about topics people are scared to talk about. And I'm being real. I'm just going to keep coming with them too. You know, I look at questions that are uncomfortable, that people that want to stray away from, so we can have intelligent, high-level conversations about it. This is what the children need to hear. They need to hear adults duke it out the right way, on the right topic. Stop dancing around it. Stop walking around it. Stop beating around the bush and get straight to it. It ain't that men need to walk back our rhetoric and sugarcoat everything. It's that the whole world in general needs to have tougher ears. You need to have some fortitude. Man, there are women from some cultures, even women in American culture, that have heard everything from their father. So they don't need anything sugarcoated from them. Their daddy said it worse. So we're getting to those type of topics on the Trigger Mike Show. You know it. That's how we do. Salute to everybody in the chat. The Trigger Mike Show has the livest chat on YouTube. I'm telling you. Check that chat out. Get in there. Engage with the chat. I invite a lot of people to watch the show. Don't just be a wallflower. Don't just be sitting there with your eyes looking and, wanting to comment. Get in this chat and comment. You don't even got to use your real name. Create some kind of fake name. All right. Don't be a troll, though. We got plenty of those. We got enough of those. All right. Sherwin Thomas, good morning. What's up? Birch World, how you doing? Jordan Landry, what's up? What the funk is this? Yes. That wasn't on TV, was it? Wasn't, but she is fine, though. Jeffrey Woodland, good morning to you. Miss Best, how you doing? Honest Citizen, what's going on? Rocco, what's going on? Sir Shy 87, how you doing? Trey D, what's up? Know your girl. How you doing? Love C, the accountability partner AB, much respect to you. Miss Jill, good morning, good morning. D Will, what's up, my guy? How are you doing this morning? Welcome to the Trigger Mike Show. Today's topic is, are women prepared to lead society? We had I think it was a high-level conversation yesterday. And the premise of that conversation was, it kind of got around into it a little bit. What would women do without men here? This is, I called it a post-apocalyptic question, but it really wasn't post-apocalyptic now. This stuff has happened in history before. Just know that when war happens, men fight. Women don't fight wars. This is just a fact. No, not a shot. All right. So to the winner goes the spoils. You can't leave any men alive most of the time if you're trying to decimate a country. You're either going to imprison them, not likely, because you got to build them, or you're going to wipe them out. So it has happened where the men have been wiped out before and the women were just spoils of war. Or let's say they just left you alone. All they wanted to do was decimate your men to show that they were superior, and they went back to where they came from. Not likely, because they're going to want the land for themselves. But let's say that happened. How would women survive on their own without men? So that was some kind of post apocalyptic question. We heard everyone's individual answers. Very intelligent men, by the way, and women, and women. Sparkle was on there, gave very intelligent pushback. PH Diva gave her opinion and intelligent pushback. So everybody had something to say and to lend to the conversation. But let's talk about it in the realistic sense, not some kind of drawn out movie thing, not that type of theme. Let's talk about what's going on in reality. Are women ready to lead today? Are you ready? Are you prepared to lead society today? Let's get a little bit of backstory here. Why is this the topic? Trigger Mike, is this possible? Are women ready to lead society? Can they? I mean, I believe the question is, especially if you grew up in America, if you went to a college here, it's all about women. The college campus is a simp zone for men. Nothing is for you. Everything is about them. Women have jobs, high-level jobs. There are Fortune 500 CEOs that are women. We can't do nothing about that. That's already happened. Women have education, skills. All right? Women are represented in business and job sectors they have never been represented in. This very day, as we speak, they are there. So the question isn't really, are women prepared, right? Or are women ready? Why aren't they? Like, who would say they aren't? It's kind of one of those things you need to shrug at. Like, I don't know. Are they ready? They already here. They're doing the work. So let's get down to it. Let's get down to the minutia of the topic. Women are represented in politics. Women are already making decisions on the way the world, or at least our world in the US and North America in general, should run. We've had female secretaries of state. We got female ambassadors. We got female congressmen, female senators. These women are making decisions. Are they ready to lead society? That's a real question. All right, well, let's get down to it. Let's continue on. We're going to have different ways to address this topic, but we got to make it clear. What I'm talking about is not what we were talking about yesterday. Yesterday, we were talking about a post-apocalyptic scenario. Men, or really women too, men created a social structure that allows women to assume leadership positions. That's what's realistic about what we were talking about. If we created it for them to do, this becomes a very valid question. I want to know how the men feel and how the women feel. Keep bringing up the stuff in the chat. I think y'all are doing a wonderful job. We'll discuss it soon. Now, if we're going to talk about the realism of the topic, let's break it down to where women are currently represented in our society. Can women lead at work? Let me know in the chat. I have spent my professional career in healthcare and healthcare education. Probably all but a few of my superiors, supervisors, vice presidents, senior directors have been women, simply because of the career path I chose. So I can't sit here and tell you women can't assume leadership positions at work. Yes, they can. Absolutely, they can. I have been led by women at work. It's that simple. The social structure and the way that we build the concepts in which people need to lead at work make it so gender doesn't matter. Not for the way the systems work in these organizations. But we can get down into the minutia of the differences. Ladies, I want to ask you a question. And not only we're going to get down to the differences, we're going to dispel some myths here today. All right, let's dispel some myths on this particular topic. Generally speaking, ladies, men have no problem with a woman being in charge. I want to tell y'all that when it comes to the workplace, y'all have lied on us. People, more specifically feminists, told y'all that men are going to start tripping when women are in leadership positions. That's actually not true. One of the reasons why is because a man probably put you there in that leadership position. So when a man puts a woman in a leadership position, men don't trip. Wait for it, but women do. Women hate to be led by other women. You will not see a write-up. You will not see bad behavior. You will not see somebody that's not coachable. You won't see someone gossiping until you see a woman that does not like being led by another woman. Women almost inherently understand, no matter what they say, that they are supposed to be led by men. You know it in every single fiber of your being. There is no leadership position, no supervisory. I've been a supervisor. I've been a coordinator. I've been a director. And because I am personable, I believe I'm charismatic. I believe I'm polite. I am kind. I did not have a problem leading any organization or, my specific department. Full of women. They all love me. Mike's the best. Oh my God, Mike. Oh, you're so great, Mike. Always been highly praised. Any counterpart that I had of the same job title, coordinator, director, supervisor, manager, completely different response from the women. They hated working for them. They were only smiles to their face, talking trash behind their back. Women don't like to be led by other women. Everything they do to you, as far as disciplinary wise, is an affront to you, is an attack on you. When I just said the same thing yesterday and you had no problem with it. Women hate to be led by other women. The world has made it seem as if men are the ones that hold women back. So a very valid question to women on this topic: could women be the ones who are actually holding female leaders back? Y'all didn't think I was going to go there. You thought you were going to see the title and we were going to be talking about how men were going to be standing in women's way. That may be true on some things. Definitely isn't the majority of men. But what is more important on this topic, are women standing in other women's way? Are women prepared to let other women lead society if it came to it? I want y'all to ponder on that, because that's a myth. Look at the military. I did 4 years as a U.S. Navy reservist. Spent a ton of time on training assignments, temporary duty assignments. Nobody claps louder for a promotion than men do for their female counterpart. Good job, girl. You did it, girl. You go, girl. If you did the work, you deserve the recognition, the praise. You go, girl. I want you to look at men and fathers tearing up because their baby girl did something. All these men present could have overshadowed her, but they didn't. They clapped and made room for her because she went through the same thing they went through. Men have nothing but respect for women that do that. Y'all can stop the cap. Let's dispel these myths. Men have nothing but respect for women that get in the trenches and do the same work. Men will celebrate you, scream your name to the top of the rooftops. Get out of here. The women, though, look at the look on their faces when another woman got something over them. The women will hold you back way harder than the men ever could. That's why we got to wonder, are you ready to lead society? Not because the men are going to do anything about it. Let's be real. Let's be 100% real. Ladies, we got to discuss it. We got to get down to the minutia of it. Let's dispel these myths right now. If men truly had a problem with women being at work, with women being in leadership positions, with women making their own money, we would have stopped it already. We would have put our foot on your necks. You don't have any power, only the power you've been given. If we really cared, we wouldn't let it happen. Iran, Syria, Pakistan, Iraq, all these Middle East countries, some of their women can't even drive. They don't let the women drive. You are not oppressed in this country by any means. They won't let the women go to school in Afghanistan. And you calling the men here oppressive and say, we don't want to let you do anything? Those women can't even drive. They won't even let them learn algebra. Come on, man. Let's get down to something. When we really look at it, if there is a head dude in America, in this Western society, the next person up, the automatic vice president, is his woman. Y'all have never wondered where the headmistress comes from? That term? That's the boss's wife. When he goes, she makes all the decisions. Not his brother, not in Western society. That woman in his house, that woman that held him down, automatically takes leadership. Are you prepared to lead, ladies? That is the question on the table. Are you prepared for the challenges that stand in your way? Because you've been told it would be men. But we're going to dispel those myths on this show. Those women might do you in first. Let's talk about it. Let's be real about it. So men, get your Twitter fingers ready. What expectations do we have for women in leadership roles? Women, I want y'all to understand, as I've said, we do not care. If a man puts you in that leadership role, we will obey. Men are soldiers. By and large, you only have a functioning society because most men do what they're told. So if another man says, this woman is in charge because I said so, most of the men are just going to obey. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. How may I be of service? That is what men do until it's their turn to lead. Tell me I'm lying. But we got to be clear. What are the expectations men have of women in leadership roles? Ladies, you have to lead with grace. Do not posture a man like you're a man, because you're not. When you are in leadership roles, lead with grace. Lead with your strengths. Stop trying to use mine. You can't fool a man. You are not a man. Lead with grace. Don't posture me. Have you ever noticed that women are not men? So women taking on a masculine posture to try to discipline or lead men, they will always overcompensate. You will always go too far. You're not a man. So trying to use my tone, trying to use my voice and my natural nature, you're going to overcompensate because you're not me. So don't lead like me. Lead with poise. Lead with grace. We respect that. You think your way is to get things by force. You're not bigger than me. You're not stronger than me. You can't bark. You can't roar louder than me. So don't try to dominate me. Lead with grace, femininity, poise. All right, JR, go ahead, drop that link. We're going to bring people up. Try to do this a little different today, everybody. So bring people up one by one and have the discussion. Yeah, I got some really good questions for y'all on this particular topic. So y'all need to know right away. Are women prepared to lead society? One of the things I want to know, and I'm going to ask the chat, do you believe that men are intimidated by female leadership? Let me bring some of these comments up. Myron Scott says, women, leadership for them is too bossy. But the leadership for them from a man is to pay everything, and they don't what they want. I don't know what that's trying to say. Miss Beth says, be as capable as men are, and she good to go. I would say most men agree. Miss Beth, I would say most men agree with this. Do not move the goalpost back for women and then put them over us. That shit is annoying. Oh my goodness. That is annoying. Don't move the goalposts, lower the standard, and then put that woman over me. But if she did the same as me, telling you, most men will just give it up. Most men are soldiers. We got respect for that kind of thing. Told you, we clap it up. We clap the hardest when that stuff happens. Pay close attention at your jobs. Listen to the gossip these ladies are talking about. Ms. Best also says changing universal entrance standards in the military, police, fire department, and so on for making it even impossible for women to enter is a joke. Ms. Best, you got to clarify what you mean by that. Oh, if you mean it's a joke to say that women should be doing the same things as men, I 100% agree. Let me tell y'all a story while we're talking about this, because that's an important thing to note. Ladies, the standard that men set for dangerous jobs in which people that engage in it need to be highly effective, that standard is always set by men. Men will surpass the physical standard of women naturally. You got to understand that. So why would we ever lower that standard so women can join? In 2015 or so, they started talking about letting women join in the infantry units of the military. I was assigned to an infantry unit at that time. All right. At that time, I was assigned to 4th Marine Division, reserve unit. And yes, I was in the Navy. So, for those of you that don't know, military has no medical. They are a part of the Navy. So they use all the Navy medical services. So you're going to hear me say Marine, 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 Marine. I was in the Navy, but I was attached to the Marine Corps. All right. Just quick clarification for you. So those women, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they did lower some standards or made it so they can get into special units or things without it. I had one opinion about that. The women and the men must be separate. Can anybody take a guess as to why I said that? Because the female hospital corpsman, that's what I was. I had to carry an 80-pound pack on my back, which housed the entire medical supply, all of the medical supplies needed for the entire unit when we went on hikes and such, and everywhere we went. So one of the ways we did this at Field Medical Training Battalion, they made me carry the largest, the heaviest dude. And this dude was like 6'6", 260, down the length of a football field. I had the fireman carry him and back. That was to show that for me to be minimally qualified, I got to be able to carry the biggest Marine there a extremely long distance, and every other Marine will have faith that I can do the same for them. Doesn't that make sense? Put a 1 in the chat if that just makes sense. Everybody, the mission itself will be safe because Doc can take care of everybody. He can carry us off that battlefield. Now, ladies, what if you were a woman? Are you carrying a 260-pound Marine up and down a football field and expect the rest of the battalion, of the platoon, of the fire team to have faith in you? Doesn't seem logical, does it? That is what we're contending with here, ladies. When men don't show faith, it's not personal. They're basically saying, am I safe with you? Do you even have the physical ability to carry my weight? Because Doc does. I'll go to war with Doc. And if you can, I'll go to war with you. But I don't think you can carry me. So you should expect that some men are going to feel a way about that. Chief Rocka says, in my 23 years in, I have served with FMF HMs that were female. I've served with a bunch of them. My HM2, HM1, yeah, both of them were females. They didn't come on a lot of those hikes, though. They sent me. In fact, I'll take that back. Some of them, sometimes, they didn't serve on a single beach hike. They sent me to all of those. But they came on hikes. They did the work. They tended to wounds. But when it came to the physical, they were absent. And if I got to be real, most of the time they were pregnant. If I'm just being real. Probably why I had to go out so much, though. That's why I told them, if you are going to allow women in the infantry, give them their own units. That's it. A woman should be able to carry another woman off of the battlefield. But we cannot expect that a large group of women can carry their male service members off of a battlefield. That is simple physics. You can't carry my weight. I don't feel comfortable fighting with you. You ain't gonna pull me out the firefight. Let's get some more. Woo. Kaya or Kia says, It takes a lot of training for a woman to carry a man, how to pick up, how to not pull your back, etc. Listen, it's going to take a lot of training. And I'm going to tell you, there's no way, as fit as I was at 5'11 and a half, when I done got my back tweaked a little bit. So I'm definitely 6'1.5" now. They took that curvature out. At that time, 199 pounds. I looked like Apollo Creed out there. I was an Adonis in those age. Don't ask me to stand up now. I don't look like that now. I really don't look like that now. But coming back, you had all adrenaline going down that football field. Coming back, carrying that dude, boom, 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 on your knees. For me to feel the way that I did, I do not see how a woman of smaller stature could do it. Because as you're moving, his weight is just bearing down on you. Come on now. That's not, pause. That sounded crazy. But listen, that's not something that, a lot of people are going to feel very comfortable in. Tanya Gordon says, agreed. I don't even hold a man's feet when doing sit-ups in the Army PT test. Hey, that's kind of crazy. That'll wear you out just a little bit. Because at my size, it was always me. I'm a little top heavy. So it was always me, no matter how tall the other person was. I usually ended up doing it with like the biggest person. I had to hold their feet, sit up, push up, all of that. And these mugs are heavy. Told you, dude was 6'6". He was a corpsman too. 6'6", 260. I don't even know how he got in. I don't even know how he passed weight requirements. I think he had to get taped. Yeah, when you're 6'6", you're naturally going to be heavier. He was a little stocky, but a little buff. Man, I mean, any woman that can do it, kudos to you. Kudos to you. Welcome, everybody. That link is dropped if you want to come up. Let me talk to some of my service members real quick. I served in the Army in a medical unit, and I completely agree with what he is saying. Thank you for that. Because we got to talk about it. We got to talk real about it. If you want women in the infantry, by all means, give them their own units. Give them their own weight class. Teach them by themselves. Putting them in the mix with the way men move takes away our battle efficiency as a group. I would even say move those ladies to different units or for different missions. I never in my life, I don't think we are all ready to see a bunch of captured female Navy SEALs with their heads about to get chopped off and other parts of their body mutilated. The world ain't ready to see that. Everybody can stop capping. The world ain't ready to see that. CEO DMP, what's going on, my guy?
What's up, brother?
Good day to you.
I ain't want to come in and get at it too yet. I just saw nobody else popping up, wanted to get up on here and make the conversation interesting and stuff. I was thinking you probably wanted women to come up and speak first.
Nope. You good, because I got questions. I got a question for you. You ready?
Oh, no doubt.
Are men intimidated by female leadership?
Not at all. They might be, at most, they might be a little insecure of it, but never intimidated by it.
I like the way you said that, because I don't think people notice just how many women are put in society, in the structures that we have, how many women earned their leadership position, and the men just work. The men just work under them. That's the supervisor, that's the director. Right. She was there before you. You're not about to go in there in an organization that picked her and make trouble. You're just gonna work. Men just focus on the work, no matter who's in charge. Yes, ma'am. In fact, I'll make this assertion. I've noticed that women use their male employees more because of the response they get from them. whenever I've had female supervisors, they come to me first because the women give them trouble. I know he'll do it. I know it'll just be yes, ma'am, and the work will be done. And that's it. No back talk. All right. Excellent. Let me bring up John the Baptist. I see you, Auntie J. Bring you up in a second. Good morning, John the Baptist.
What's going on, Trigger Mike CEO? How y'all doing today?
Good. Go ahead and turn up your audio.
Is that better?
That is better.
Okay. How y'all doing today?
Good, good. Question for you. Are
I'll
men
try my best.
intimidated? Are men intimidated by female leadership?
No. I don't even need no context for that one.
Thank you. I want the ladies to hear it from the men. Sugar Curl says, yes, my female employees are always insubordinate. We know. Men focus on the work. If you want, listen, I'm not even going to tell, but somebody I know very close to me wants to replace some of her workers with men, even though men are less than 5% in that profession. She wants to pay extra just to get some men because of how catty the women are. It's crazy.
Can I say this though?
Yes, sir. What you got on the topic?
I've been in situations though where I did have supervisors that were females. And what I did notice is that men would get called upon more to do whether it's a handy, it's like if it's carrying something or like just a more difficult task. But if it's supposed to be equal, why do we have to make this compensation of why can't it just be equal all the way around?
You know what? It'll never be. I don't know if we're going to touch on this real quick because I got other questions. I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of stores can't hire people just to be cart pushers. They got to hire them as cashiers / cart pushers. So I've always noticed, why the hell aren't the girls outside pushing carts? Why this boy outside in the rain? Can he get some time in the heat too? While the women in here geeking with each other at the register. That burns me up. But it will never be equal because the men won't allow it. That is, it's like a sick joke. We won't feel right letting women suffer for us. It's in us. You understand what I'm saying? We don't feel right letting it happen. So they will never offer. It's upon us to know that they don't want equality. They're just talking. Because they would be out in the rain too.
That's why I want to go back to the military, because I was in the military too, and I think the military from the time from basic training to AIT, it sets a false equivalency in the sense of when you have physical standards that have to be met. I was in the Army. I can't remember what we did push-ups, sit-ups, and a 2-mile run. And now that serving in the military, I'm telling you now that it should be one set standard.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't care what field you go into, your number one job is not your MOS. Your number one job is to defend the country. And if your number one job is to defend the country, you're not just fighting against women. You're fighting. The other armies may be just all men. And so my thing is, I don't know how it's a contradiction that we're talking about here. You can't just say I'm gonna have an infantry full of women. The infantry full of women not gonna be fight. It's not gonna be another army another country have infantry full of women for them to fight. So you're wasting resources, time, and money. And I know you're saying that kind of like just as something to compare and talk about, but that's how I'm looking at it.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, CEO.
Now, just to give a little pushback, just to make it's not even pushback; it's more just to expand the concept and understanding of it, right? So I definitely think we need to make a way to have women in the military. And here's why. When it comes to fighting wars, when it comes to military operation, just as much as the physical fight, there's a lot of logistics that need to go on. There's a lot of work, communication that goes on. Would you, if you got a man who is a soldier, who can lift a man and drag a man across the field, would you ever want these type of men behind a typewriter, behind a phone? Now, this stuff has to happen throughout the entire process of war. There needs to be people, soldiers there who never pick up a gun. We need people on the phone. We need people looking at monitors and everything. Would you ever want a soldier during a war where we're fighting for our lives behind a phone, behind a desk, or behind a monitor? So therefore, you would want to utilize women to make sure we're not having soldiers, men, having to do jobs that women could actually do just as well as men. You know,
Yeah, I see what you're
every
saying.
soldier on the field. We want every man on the field.
Yeah.
We'll die if we don't have somebody on the radio. We'll die if we don't have somebody, you know. So you see how, like, you want women to a way to get women in there still, though. Because they put more men on the field.
Everything you're saying, it's already happening. You know what I mean? Women already, largely choose. Well, I'm sorry, less than. Don't correct me if I'm wrong. I know it's probably lower than this, but it's like a very small percentage of military service members are in any kind of infantry or combat role. Women are already highly represented in all the non-combat roles. So the last statistic I saw on this, you know, it's going to always be largely men that are part of the fighting force. Whether they grow it or not, women won't sign up for the dangerous jobs. They won't. When they opened up the infantry in 2015 for women to enlist, the last numbers I saw were that since then, 55-something thousand men had joined the Army and Marine infantry units or Navy Special Force, any kind of fighting force, combat-related force. 680-something women join. Women will never join. They will always want to be in the logistics, in the support, in the medical roles. That is the same as what they want to do in the civilian sector.
And that's why that's why it's like I always try to bring another perspective just to make conversation interesting. I'm not going. I understand. Generally, I understand what you brothers are talking about the capability and competency and stuff and women and everything. But let's say boot camp. If we literally made the standards the same, they wouldn't get in. And then that would deprive us of all of those positions that can be handled by women that don't necessarily need the competency of men. That would deprive us. We would have to put men in those positions, and therefore we would have soldiers.
I see what you're saying.
We would have.
Do you know?
Soldiers.
I see what you're saying now. Do you know the U.S. is pretty weird? They're very weird. We call the military the whole thing. Every country doesn't do that. The military is like, that's why when we come here and say women are in the military and people are like, what? It's because the military is the combat force in most countries. We call the whole thing the military, the logistics, the medical. We call all of it the military. Brett Williams says that doesn't require them to be enlisted. The military hires contractors all the time. And that's what everything else actually should be.
But see, that's kind of disingenuous, because if we were really talking about kind of jumping off the conversation we had yesterday, we're thinking about black men, black women, in general, right? We're talking about us. Okay, if something goes down and all of us had to go to war, would you, in order for us to survive, it's not just we got to go fight that war. We got to be on the battlefield, but we also have to make sure that they're not flanking us. We also got to make sure that our households and our communities, everything that we're protecting, is not falling apart behind us. You know what I'm saying? So in war, let's talk about black people going to war. If we were to come under attack, all men run to the battlefield. You know what I'm saying? We need those women.
Well, nobody here is going to say that we don't.
Right.
I think it's just semantics as to, the roles that they play, but we've already seen it work. And I believe that's the reason why most women aren't able to enlist in the way they are in the military in America.
Like,
women manned the factories during World War II just to make bullets.
would you prefer women handling, like the main supply route, women handling, transportation and logistics, as you was talking about, or would you want a soldier like me and you? We've been to boot camp. We know we're competent. I know I can carry you off. You can carry me off. Would you want me then, when it's time for war, to not be standing beside you, fighting against the enemy, to actually be back at home, answering phone calls and passing messages and handling that part of war, which is just as vital, because if we don't have that, we'll die, because we're not able to share battle space and battlefield, communications. And it's just
but
important that you wouldn't want me there, would you?
Yeah.
At home, while you're on the battlefield.
This is the way the U.S. is already set up. This is the way the selective service is set up. Only men join the selective service. So this says very last resort, but when they institute a draft, women ain't going nowhere. Women staying here and dealing with the logistics, caring for the families. If need be, they need to man the factories. They need to get behind the desk. Some of them need to get from behind the desk and start running the machinery, because the men are going to go fight. The system is already set up like that. But luckily for us, we have a swift and efficient fighting force. We got expeditionary forces in the water. We got air support from every major base around the world. Like, you see what I'm saying? So we haven't gotten to the point where we need to institute a draft yet. But in that worst case scenario you're talking about, that's the way our force is already set up.
That's not worst case scenario I'm talking about. I'm talking about an actual application of war operations, military operations. You got to have two forces. It's two sides of a coin. You got a fighting force, but then you got that logistical side. You got that the communication side, just as important. I mean, if we're out there fighting as men, but we're not getting the satellite feeds information, we're not able to call back to command center, the command base. We don't have the main supply route set up, and we're not we just fought a war, but the supplies to restock us are not on the way on time and stuff. We're not getting ammunition and water delivered on time. We'll die. I don't care how well we fight. And we would want every man who's competent actually fighting to be on the field. So who would we leave to handle those operations, the logistical operations?
Well, yeah, I would say we're set up that way already. It doesn't need to happen that way. The men will have to, like, they will pull men off of their MOS, off of their rating, to come be infantry if need be. I would say that exactly the way you're explaining it is the way our military is set up.
You're in when you speak, you don't want to separate our particular women, our particular people, because we have no military. We're a part of their military, because we definitely wouldn't be fighting these wars. Or are you wanting to cast us all in to American military, and basically women getting into the Marines, women getting into the Army and the Navy? Or are you talking about Black women standing up and leading the Black race?
Oh, whoa. I think we're talking about something different entirely now. Okay. All right. Yeah, we're going to, because, I thought we were talking about something completely different. I didn't even understand. I'm talking, I was a U.S. military service member. So that's what I'm talking about.
So your title, when it says, are women ready to lead, you're more talking about, are women willing to take on high-ranking positions within the United States military?
No, not anywhere. So let me ask we'll come back to this, because let me ask the continuing questions. Yeah. So we talked about the social structure that men created that allows women to lead. I think I tried to preface it this way, because if we didn't want them to lead, or in any kind of nature structure, let me actually preface it like this. I only believe there are 4 real professions on earth. There's warriors, builders, healers, and society support. The reason men will always lead is because we are represented in all 4 of those categories. Women only represent 2. Women only are healers and society support. The overwhelming majority of women. They only heal: medical, healthcare, nurse, therapists. What do they choose in college? Healing. and then they support society. The reason why that's important to note is that if we ever do go back to that apocalyptic structure we talked about yesterday, what are we going to need more of? Warriors, builders. Women aren't going to do that. Men are going to do that. So we always end up naturally leaders, naturally in front, because we are the protectors. We build the society. So that's more on that. Let me get to another question, and we're going to go around.
Okay.
Let me take this last comment off. Do women even want to lead, or are they just talking? John the Baptist, we're going to start with you.
That's a difficult question for me to answer, but I'm going to do my best. The way I look at it, I don't think women naturally want to lead. I think what I believe society has taught them they should want to lead. And so now they have taken the reins of what society have taught them and believe that it is their desire that they should want to. That's the best way I can answer that question.
Okay. What about you, CEO DMP?
Can you ask the question one more time just so I can get it clear? Mute. I think you're on mute.
Do women even want to lead, or are they just talking?
I don't think that women want to lead, and I don't even think they're talking about even suggesting that they want to lead. I believe the only time we even hear women in leadership position is out of desperation, like they're feeling like nobody else is leading, and they're feeling that they're being left as the only ones the guardians, and they have to step up and try to be some type of leader, try to in some way, shape or form advance their families or themselves, because they don't believe that the men are doing so within society. But when I hear women talk about leadership, being bosses and everything, to me, it's out of necessity. Nobody's doing it for them. Nobody's building it for them. Nobody's taking over for them. They're left on their own, and therefore they have to step up to the challenge and be boss bitches or bosses or whatever, you know.
So that leads to. I'm sorry, I mean, go ahead. What you gonna say?
No, I was done.
Okay.
Cam up real quick, WTP. So I know it's you, then you can. All right. So on this particular question, I'm going to answer it. Got you. On this particular question, do women even want to lead, or are they just talking? I believe they are just talking. Remember, we built this social construct to make leadership for them possible in all the various ways. Through that construct, remember, this is all fake. It's all fake. This social structure we have, it can all be toppled with the drop of one bomb. That is something we do not readily realize a lot. A lot of women are born into such a functional social construct that they believe this is actual reality. Please go to Africa. Please go to Iraq. Please go to Syria. Please go to Pakistan. Please go to Afghanistan. That is real life. That is what life looks like without the social structure, the functional, productive structure that men built. Without democracy, without a functioning republic, that is life. That is what we go back to when war starts. Everybody stops agreeing, and it becomes about day-to-day survival. So when we say, do women want to lead? I usually say, do they want to lead that? Hell no. They will revert back to their natural state. Oh my God, what are we going to do? Follow the men or die. That is the way I look at it.
So you're adding the war scenario back to it, right? Or like a doomsday scenario back to it. Because are you talking about leadership of families or leadership of Black economy, or are you talking about leadership in government administration or in a
You know
war?
what? You know what? I'm talking about all of it, CEO. I don't believe that women want to lead any of it. What I believe now is that feminism told them that they could. Feminism put a battery in their back. Feminism basically told them they had an advantage and that maybe they were better off alone. I don't believe they actually want to lead. The weirdest part about it is how did single motherhood for some women even become a badge of honor? Stuff like that. But yet any complaint about parenting in general comes from a woman. I don't even see how those two things could live in the same atmosphere. So it just tells me that you thought it was cool to say, girl, I'm out here taking care of these kids by myself. You know how it is to sound powerful, but yet they want to complain when they realize that's actual leadership of a home. So I don't think they actually want to lead in any scenario, not war, not in the house, nothing. They expect. And let me say this, and then I'm going to divert to WTP. Men do not lead by desire, ladies and gentlemen. We are not out here beating on our chests talking about we in charge. We lead partly because of your expectation, ladies. You expect us to lead. I always give this scenario. If a man and a woman, let's say horror movie style, just woke up and they were on the side of the road, and on the road there were a set of keys and a map of instructions of where to go. The man is grabbing the keys and the woman is getting in the passenger seat. That is going to happen the overwhelming majority of the time. You see a man, let him drive. That is what a woman's nature tells her. Most of the people you see after church getting back into the car, isn't daddy driving? Isn't daddy responsible for how this family moves and getting to our next destination? Get in the passenger seat. That is your nature. Let him drive. That is a metaphor for life, not just for your home, not just for transportation in a car. That is a metaphor for your life. Trust a man to drive the car. Let him drive. So, what do you think a woman is going to say to that, y'all? She's going to say, well, I can drive too. Then take the keys from me. Try and take it. You can't. Once I say I'm driving, a woman's just going to say, okay. You see what I'm saying? So,
They should.
WTP, good morning.
They should. Oh, go ahead.
Am I coming in clear?
Yes, sir. What you got on the topic?
Okay, I like the analogy that you made, but I think I'm pull it all together. I think that in general, women want to delegate, and that's the huge difference. I think women think they want to lead, but their idea of leading is actually still having men do the things that, as far as create the infrastructure, and they just tell us what to do. And even with the analogy that you just said, I think a lot of women would actually nag that man to get the keys because, again, that's the power of their tongues. And delegation is something that I think most modern women want to have. They want the power and the delegation, but they don't want the responsibility of actually putting it all together and making sure it works. So when you speak about do women want power, do women want to lead? I think they absolutely do want to lead, but not leading in the way that you think men lead. Men lead and they create and they keep it going. Women maybe just want to kind of have the power position and delegate the same way that I think Kevin Samuels kind of spoke about the way hyenas work. I think in a really strange way, the Black community is also working in the exact same way, where it's really the women who are on top and they just kind of send the men out to do the things that they want done. Hence, we have no idea how many women have sent men to their death and to jail, where they just say, hey, do this for me. And men have done that. And I think that women have seen that enough men will always be able to be molded by them and say, so they don't really think that they have to ever truly submit or actually lead.
That is very profound. You're right. You're right about that. And I
So
think that leads. Yeah, go ahead, John.
So WTP, are you? And I want to make sure I understand what you're saying. So you're saying women want to lead based on how they interpret what leading is.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. And so my question, and I think you already answered this question because I think you gave such a detailed answer. I actually agree with it. So basically, it's really not leading; it's just how they interpret it.
It's the same way that women always try to tell young boys what it is to be a man, but they don't, really know what a man is. They don't. It's the same thing that where a lot of times if you're doing something wrong, let's say you're the manager, somebody will try to come to you and say, "Oh, you need to do it," but they haven't done it. They don't know the infrastructure behind it. They just know the outward. Oh, well, you run this restaurant, you do this and do it that way. I could do it. And it's like, no, you don't understand the ins and outs. You don't understand the kitchen staff. You don't understand all the other things that I have to do to make sure this is even a working restaurant. And I don't think that women truly understand all the details that come in leadership, but they still want it. And a lot of times, because men aren't forceful enough, women can just nag a man to get the keys. Women can just talk a man from his power position. And I think Eddie Murphy even spoke about it in his Raw comedy special. Men, we are naturally submissive to women's tones and voices. I think maybe it's from our mothers, maybe from whatever. And that's where we lose our power. Women's tones and voices. I think maybe it's from our mothers, maybe.
Lacey, you got YouTube running in the background. It's going to echo. Go ahead, WTB.
I think that was my last point. It was just that, again, the delegation is what women truly want. The power to tell men what to do, the power to kind of know how it works, but then they actually don't want to have to do it.
Well, I think, you know what? Not only is that a great point, I think if you just look at stats, it's very scary what they're doing in America. I think it leaves us very vulnerable and susceptible to kill our society off. I'm not trying to be dramatic. When we behave as if we can replace the workforce in general with women, like everything, you see what I'm saying? All administrative positions, all positions in which can be held by women, then get turned over to women. The reason why is it's natural. This is not even a Trigger Mike thing. I'm not saying it. It is natural and apparent that women don't have the capacity for work that men do. You simply just want to do other things. Men literally spend their entire life at work.
Yes.
Our entire life at work. Women are just like, I ain't doing this. Like, you, at some point, you just see them decide to step away. They want to do other things. They want to invest that time and energy into their children. That's usually the turning point. But Lacey, I see you there. How you doing this morning? First time up. Welcome.
Hi, hello.
Woo. All right.
Actually, afternoon where I'm at. So,
good afternoon.
Hello. First off, excuse the noise. I'm stay at home with both two boys. So if you hear crying, screaming, it's my kid.
We're used to it. We're used to it.
But I wanted to get up on here and say you're actually preaching facts. Like everything that you're saying is I think honest and real. And I don't think, specifically the part when I don't know who said it, but someone was saying that I don't think women fully grasp the responsibility they're taking on when they take on the leadership position or when they're trying to be leaders, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So from my perspective, my personal experience, I'm the oldest and I'm first generation Haitian. And so I grew up, what that means basically, I grew up with the mindset of like education, leader, from my school, from my teachers, from my parents, leader. So in a way, society kind of made me feel like, oh yeah, you're going to be a leader. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to be a leader. You're going to be a leader. And it wasn't until I got married that I didn't realize like, no, that's not how that works. Like, yes, maybe to women in a way, you're in a sense leader, or when your children look up at you, you know what I mean, as far as power dynamic. But leader means completely different, especially in a marriage. And it took me a while to really understand that and to fight that, because like I said, growing up, all I'm hearing is, and I was a student athlete, so I excelled well. You know what I'm saying? I did well, and I had that competitive conquer mentality.
Mhm.
But then when I got married to my husband, it was like, in his words, I wasn't gonna give a damn about that conquer mentality. Like, here, I need you to submit. Fortunately for me, growing up Haitian, I saw how that dynamic worked with my parents. But it was, can you imagine how confusing that can still be, though, when you're being drilled in your brain, you're a leader, and you're literally, I know most people argue women are living in delusion, but you're literally being told this, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you're a woman, and don't let you be a black woman. Or you're a woman, we're gonna put you here, you're gonna do this. And then not knowing, like, that doesn't work in a marriage really with a man. You know what I mean? I hope I'm making sense.
Not only does it not work, so the bad part is that this is why I believe a lot of moms are staying silent. This is why a lot of women won't come to the forefront and tell where they messed up, because they're starting to realize they're responsible for all of this crap. And some fathers too. Some fathers got on here saying that they taught their woman to be, their daughters, too much independence. And it's like, bro, I kind of messed up because I should have been teaching them to be great partners. Listen, it's one thing to want your daughter to be self-sufficient. In fact, most of the things that we ask our daughters to be is just to be an adult. Just be an adult. Be self-sufficient. But always have a mind for your family, because this is where the despair comes from. Because you're going to want it anyway. How many women you know that just want to be in corporate America all day long with no family? The reason most women tire out so quickly is that they realize they're not as insane as some of the men that do that. Working 85 hours a week for 20 years straight just so you can be called CEO. Some women will be like, y'all tripping. I ain't doing this. Y'all ain't got no life. So moms are now realizing that, damn, what I should have said was get your education. Do two things at once. How do you even partner with a man so you can build him up so you can relax? That's the real secret. You're going to want to relax. Like, you don't even understand that this is not even opinion. Married women own all the wealth, ladies and gentlemen. If you was really trying to get a bag, help your man out. Send his ass to the military for 20 years. I know women that did it. They ain't had nothing. They got with the dude. They got pregnant. They were like, how we going to do this? Well, I'm going to go to the military so we straight. Get a little bit of BAH. We're going to get married. I'm going to ride this thing out so the kids get an education off this GI Bill. They make it work that way. The woman even goes to school for free off of that. Right? So, Lacey, speaking facts. I got another question for the panel. We're going to go back around. All right. So now we're going to talk about women in actual leadership positions and what it will mean. So what will actually happen? Just give me your scenario. And let me preface this. I'm sorry. People are going to start to answer this question by saying there have been other female leaders in other countries. Ladies and gentlemen, there has never been a female leader of a military superpower. Russia, China, United States. That is something different entirely. These are world powers. The reason we say first world country and cold world country is because they're talking about the countries aligned with military superpowers. That's to tell you how powerful NATO. NATO wouldn't exist without US because they're all protected by the US. The whatever the Russia one is called wouldn't exist without protection from Russia. So that is how powerful these countries are. So when I ask you what will happen if we have a female president in the United States, I'm talking about a woman put in charge of a military superpower. The world has never seen it. And make no mistake, this country is stupid. It's probably going to happen. So we're going to start with CEO DMP. What will happen if we have a female U.S. president?
I think that the government, the economy, society, and everything would be ran from a female perspective. There would be a different on the emphasis, on different on the priorities and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that because of women's nature, they might neglect uh the importance of men, and that is that you really need to be aggressive out here. That ultimately the war that we are is survival. It's a game of survival. It's economical. It's a competition over resources. And that I know you just want to have fun and be nice and focus on certain things, but there needs to be an aggressive, strong hand as far as how we're perceived by other nations, competitors, our enemies. You have to establish that, and women simply do not have that mindset of how to establish dominance amongst men. They wouldn't know how to administer that, govern that, maintain, establish or maintain that. So, like I said, like they would lose that. We would, as a nation, lose that competitive edge because women wouldn't sustain or maintain that aggression.
Appreciate that. So, Chief Rocker, my man, I get every time I make this statement, somebody says Margaret Thatcher. The UK, y'all, I love my UK people. Y'all are not a military superpower. They are not a military superpower. They would get attacked without their alliance with the US. Not only that, Texas is bigger than the entire United Kingdom. So they're an extremely small group of nations. And because of, their, contiguous to others, some of their, I guess, would-be enemies, so close, they have to be aligned with another superpower to dare people to invade them. So they are not a military superpower. They're just in the alliance with the number one military superpower, which is the U.S. Most people say Margaret Thatcher, though. And I really like that lady because she was an anti-feminist. Boy, she gave women the finger. Like, who you think about the cape for you? She was probably a man in disguise, but we ain't going to talk about that today. All right, John the Baptist, what will happen if we have a female U.S. president?
So, we almost had it happen, right, with Hillary Clinton. Mm-hmm. And let me preface my statements by saying this: I actually left following the political system, and what happens probably about 7 years ago. I check in from time to time, and just kind of get a grasp of what's going on. But I'm not into it because I think it's full of crap. But with that said, if a woman took over, Hillary Clinton is probably not even probably. She knows more about the country, the chaos that we have with other countries in the world and society than I do. Than I probably would ever know because I don't even follow it anymore. So, in the fact that she know more than me, yes, she does. Does she have leadership qualities? Yes, I think she does. But if she ever became president, I don't think. Matter of fact, I know it would not be good for the country because she would. Although she's more intelligent than me when it comes to our allies and our enemies, who we work with, who we don't work with, she would push too much of an agenda outside of. She's too much female agendas, and the alphabet community agenda, and trying to make everything make all of us be inclusionist. And I think that's where it would go left. And there's another groundswell that's going to start happening now too, because I think Hillary's kind of falling, fall out of the media, kind of when you're out of sight, you're out of mind. Mm-hmm. I think the groundswell now is going to be towards Michelle Obama. I'm starting to hear more about her name and running for president. Now it just may be people just talking; it may not be anything to it. But normally, where there's smoke, look for a fire. I'm not saying it's going to turn into anything, but I'm just looking to see the thing ever gain wind and it turns into a full-fledged fire. And I feel even if she does it, it'll be the exact same thing. Because of who her husband is, she has more influence of the country than I would ever have. She has more insight to what's going on than I would ever have. But again, I just think because of the nature of her being a woman, she would again push to be inclusionist. And I don't think that would be good.
Very good. Very good. Before we get to the next person, let me read some of these super chats. Willie Walker, $5. Only insecure men are threatened by female leadership. I think CEO DNP said that. However, that leadership position should not force her into a masculine frame. And it sometimes does. I don't think some of them can help it. To lead with grace is an art form. And some women just can't
gotta
draw.
be careful with that word insecure, because when we say insecure, it's not like it's an insecurity in ourselves, but it's an insecurity in the competency and the capability of the women.
Oh, that's a real distinction. That's a real distinction. I would say some men, I mean, I'm just going to say it. In the military, during war situations, battalions and all this stuff, where they just put female sergeants there and they looking at each other like, bruh, was she at any of the training assignment? What is she doing? That I've seen that insecurity you're talking about.
It's like when my woman drives my vehicle, right? Or my truck, right? So her driving, she's like taking lead, right? My life is in her hands. I'm not sitting there feeling no insecurity in me. I just don't feel that she's will respond as quick as I would. I don't feel that, you know what I'm saying?
I'm 100% with you. Do you know my wife don't drive nowhere when I'm in the car for that exact reason? Women always look at it like, well, in fact, let's explain the male position on this, ladies. The reason some men will let you drive in this particular time and generation. Some men don't care. Imagine the kids were in the back and you crashed and they both died. Let's go all the way to the extreme. You don't think at the funeral somebody's going to ask, why wasn't he driving?
Exactly.
Why was she in control of the situation? That's what's running through my mind. I literally had, like, the last time my wife drove somewhere, I literally had something to do where it was like a time clock on it. And I just keep looking up like, hey, slow down behind that car. I might as well have been driving the damn car. I got on her nerves so bad. Right? So I feel what you're saying on that. Clement Gray, $2. Female over military in U.S. scorched earth. I think a lot of people agree with that sentiment, even women. That's a question. So again, if you're just tuning in, welcome to the Trigger Mike Show. Appreciate y'all for coming in. Make sure you hit that like button down at the bottom. Share this content out so people may partake in the conversation as well. Keep on sending those super chats so we can read them live on the show. So now we're moving to, was it John the Baptist or WTP?
WTP.
What will happen if we have a female U.S. president?
Before I answer that, do you think that the U.S. president is the leader?
No, Congress makes all the decisions. Yeah.
Okay, so my point is, I don't think that anything drastic will happen that the powers that be don't want to happen. So with a woman being the president of the U.S., she has the ultimate mafia behind her. So I understand a lot of men's trepidation about, her maybe having those meetings and not getting the respect from other countries that, a man would get. I think in a normal situation, that would be the case. But when you have this kind of backing and you have this sort of pull behind the scenes, like think about all the Epstein connections that Hillary Clinton had. She had real power, whereas if she was the president, she would be able to hold her own because she has power of secrets and power of knowledge. So I believe that if a woman becomes the president of the United States, it will not be anything crazy drastic because she's going to have somebody above her telling her what to do. It's the same way that people are so mad at Ryan Coogler for, what he did with Black Panther. And I'm like, you can't be mad at him because he has Disney ahead of him. He's just the face and they're the puppet masters. So a woman president, I don't think it would it will be orchestrated chaos. It'll be a whole lot of, oh, this is happening and this happening, but nothing drastic will happen that the powers that be don't want to happen. So I don't think it will be that big of a deal. And what the gentleman was saying about a woman being in president to push the agenda, I mean, the agenda is already being pushed and there's men presidents. So again, anything that's going to happen that the powers that be want to happen is going to be happening, whether it's a man in office or a woman.
And I don't disagree with that, WTP. I think you are right. It is happening with men presidents too. And I think Oh, somebody else want to say something? I cut somebody off. My
No,
bad.
I'm just trying to say, John O, get out my chat with this BS. Talk about Meghan Markle for president. I'll lead this country. How's she gonna go tear up one country's monarchy, then come over here and try to? No, get out of here.
And you're right, but you are right, WTB. That has happened up under men too. But I think with women, it would be the main focus. And I think another part of what you mentioned it too. You're right. The president is really not in charge. It's the Congress. So the scary part is, I guess, the scary and the safe part of it is, if you have a liberal president with a liberal Congress, I can see it. I can see where it would happen more. And if you have a liberal woman president, because it's this movement going on now talking about girl power.
Mhm.
And so if you get a woman president, their girl power, that thing blows up now. And that's the danger what I'm looking at, because if you get a woman president in America with this girl power, this black girl magic stuff happening, it blows up more. And I think that's the danger what I see in it. I'm not saying that doesn't happen up under men, it does. But then you just making it now front and center.
Yep. I think that's more of the agenda talk that they're talking about. Lacey, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. What will happen if we have a female U.S. president?
I agree 100% with WT Funk.
What the fuck is this? I'm gonna work on this name. All right.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with him 100%. Like, I would say because Hillary Clinton, a lot of women didn't even like her. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of women hated. Maybe hate is maybe a strong word, but to me, they hated her. So realistically, a woman being president, I agree with him. Like, it's all dependent on her team. You know what I mean? It's all dependent on that, what do they call it? Like everybody else within office behind, on top of her. So I don't really think it would make huge of a difference in that way, but I do think it would cause a lot of civil discord, just because the past presidential elections and stuff, how that's already caused division. So I think it would cause even more division, if I could be honest. I think it caused even more men versus women type of thing. Just lots of confusion, lots of chaos, which then that's when I would say countries wouldn't take us seriously, because it's like, you guys can't agree on one thing. Yeah, so you all can't collectively agree. You're all distracted, getting caught up in emotions and feelings, and it's supposed to be like this or it's supposed to be like that. So of course we're not going to take you seriously or attack you while you're down, attack you while you're emotional, attack you while you're, distracted. Yeah, that's my take on that.
Got you. So everybody said a little bit of my answer. So, I like to let me go be a little dramatic here, because I'm with Funk as well. President is just a figurehead. So, people kind of overblow and exaggerate the power a president actually has. And they also have to be careful with the way they wield executive power, because they'll give away their real agenda, right? So if a woman just gets in and starts executive order, and it's all women stuff, you'd be like, oh, we might even get her out of here before the 4 years is up. They'll invoke, what is it, the 14th? One of them amendments. Get her out of here. So she's going to have to be careful with that. She still has Congress to contend with. She'll flip. A woman, listen, people are used to men presidents. We're used to men's BS and our ideology. If a woman isn't careful, the whole House and Senate will flip against her at the midterm elections. All right. So not really worried about a woman becoming president. Do women have the competency to be president? Any woman who is in Congress already, who is a senator already, has the competency to be president. Because what you're essentially saying is Even though a woman worked for a company at a high executive level, she can't be CEO. And we see that's not true. Administratively, a woman can do the job of president. Let me tell you why, though. I wouldn't want it. One thing we're not looking at, and this is my military mind working for me, other countries are going to start to act up. Remember, I said, that's why I prefaced it and said that we are a military superpower. Because of the way we maneuver, it makes women in other countries start acting up, start going against their men, start lobbying for things that they've never lobbied before. Some people don't want that. And it's not that they will attack us because they think they can actually do anything. They might attack us out of desperation. I believe people are going to start to nuclear posturing of us simply because we have a female president. And if I'm not mistaken, y'all, who makes the ultimate decision on if it gets launched? The president. They're going to try to hit us where we're weak. Congress can hold them accountable to a lot, but the ultimate, the executive on who pushes that button to launch something back is the president of the United States. We're going to get nuclear. Yes, we are going to get postured so somebody can let that woman make that mistake. On the other end of it, the reason why I would not vote for a female president. Do y'all know Barack Obama, when I was in the service, he was the longest standing president during the Iraq-Afghanistan wars. He served 8 years in it. That's the longest. Bush was only, he was up in 2008. Then you had Obama, then Trump, and then Biden ended it, right? The longest standing president was Barack Obama in the Iraq-Afghanistan wars. I've heard a nickname for him when I was in the service. It was Bomber in Chief.
Yep.
He killed the most people. Oh, Barack Obama is the nicest guy ever. You know that. You see him. He's smooth. He's not out here talking war. He's not a warmonger in the sense of being outwardly so. He's a nice
a lot of
guy.
bombs.
And he killed the most people, casualties, women, children, collateral damage than any other president during those wars. Do you know why?
Drones.
Because he's a man. They came to him and said, we have a high-level target. We must get him, but there will be collateral damage. It will be women and children involved. Should we send it? He said yes, because he understands something I believe all men understand biologically. If I don't kill them, they're coming to kill me, period.
That's a good, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Trigger Mike. That's a good point. Yeah. My husband gets on me about that. As far as just violence, I'll ask him, can you teach me how to shoot and all that? And he'll say, but you'll never do it. And I'll say, but why not? Like, if my children are harmed, if I got to do what I got, he's like, no, it's not. He's like, I'm not saying you're not going to want to protect your kids. He's just saying, like, some things, men, it's just, y'all just wired. And I'm trying to use my words.
So let me get to the other part. Now, insert a female president into that chair and tell her the same exact thing. We have a high-level target. They're going to meet with the rest of the terrorist cell. We can get them all right now, but there'll be collateral damage. It will involve hundreds of women and children. What the hell do you think she's going to say?
She ain't gonna do it. I wouldn't do it. I think I'd be like, wait, women, children.
How many times is she going to not pull that button and let that missile off the chain before it starts to affect our national security?
Trigger Mike, to your point, that's the reason why we don't want men don't want our women making this kind of decision, because it makes you less of a woman. And making those kind of decisions is like it does something to your mind and your psyche. When there's a threat to my family, I have to literally think about, do I want to take this guy's life?
Mm-hmm.
And to get there, you can't stay in a frame of mind that's normal. You have to see threat and how do I end this threat? Do you want a woman leader thinking like this, and then trying to be a wife too, whether it's a world leader or a CEO or do I want to fire a bunch of men and women that's not going to take care of their kids? That's going to change the psychology of a female.
I honestly
Absolutely, you're
think
right.
that in that situation, though, I think a woman is going to actually overcompensate and be more masculine. I think that in that situation, you guys are saying that the woman won't hit the button. I think that the woman will hit the button without even truly understanding the consequences behind it. I think the woman will be so worried about being seen as weak that she's going to overcompensate, and that's where the issues are actually going to be.
And
You
it's
know
going to
what?
mess up. It's going to mess up her psyche when she does it.
You know what? I think that is definitely that is definitely probably even more of a possibility. The only reason why I say it the way I'm going to say it is because of the advice, like the advisement. You know, they have a panel, what is it called, Joint Chiefs, and all of this stuff, explaining stuff to her. And I think it's that one weakness part. So if it's just a high level target, yes, she is going to overcompensate. She's going to say, well, get this person and get that person, and damn near have us at war when it was supposed to be something, covert.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when I think women are going to struggle with that conscious part of it. The part that I believe they're going to overcompensate is because this is having to do with something that no one else knows about. So I think both scenarios are possible. I think women will overcompensate when they've been postured. You see what I'm saying? That when they've been postured, they will absolutely overcompensate. I don't want them to think I'm weak. And they'd be like, man, that was absolutely an overblown response. We don't even do it that way. Right. So I forget who said it. There's studies that have been done throughout conflict in the world, and women will basically start more conflict than men ever would. Like, they resort to conflict faster than men do. Like, men, the reason diplomacy exists is because men decided to talk before we shoot. Go ahead, CEO DMP.
I'm sorry, CEO. Before you go, I have to go. My husband's about to be home, so I got to get things ready.
Hey, do your thing, girl. We like that kind of thing around here. Handle your business.
Thanks for coming.
Bye. Have a good one.
All right.
Do y'all notice that they say that, I don't know, we got a lot of stay-at-home moms on this show. Is a stay-at-home mom back in style? Because that's pretty cool. I'm just saying. What y'all think, chat?
Sir, all the good women are staying at home. So if you want a good woman, you got to just go knock on a door like you selling Girl Scout cookies or something, because the good women ain't coming out. So
I don't know if a woman's going to open the door if she see a grown man with Girl Scout cookies in his hand, but this is a setup.
Hey, these good girls are hungry. They'll take a chance.
Cops come up behind you. Whoop, whoop. Look. Oh, damn. No, I ain't even selling these cookies for real. All right, somebody has something to say. Go ahead. CEO DMP.
Just like I said, just to make the conversation interesting, and some of the things that I'll be hearing and stuff, like, I'm always with the brothers, and I understand what you're coming from generally now, and I'm with you 100% as far as competency and capability and being able to meet the standards of men and stuff. But for instance, like, you believe naturally a woman might not be suitable for that position. But I believe, as being somebody who's been in the streets, being somebody who's been militant, I've seen a lot of dudes choke up under pressure. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, the only time I've really been in the shits is with men. And I've seen a lot of brothers, a lot of men, a lot of males who they can shoot, they can fire, they can do the training. But when a man dies next to you, when the bullet's flying by your face and stuff, they don't hold up under pressure. Mm-hmm. Then another point, if you train a woman and have really had her study the art of war, to really understand the politics, read, Machiavelli, The Prince, and read, 33 Strategies, read these type books and know these things, are you saying that she won't be able to execute?
No, we're not saying that.
As another man could be. For instance, I feel like for instance, what is her name? She's political activist, Black girl. She's actually married to a white dude. You know what I'm saying? Candace Owens.
Yeah.
She could run my house. I think herself is competent, capable. I think she would be a good president. You know what I'm saying? And I think that even when it came to setting other countries straight, I think she would understand the policy. She would understand the way the game is played, the Game of Thrones, as if you will. She'd understand when to put her foot down, when to be tactful, when to be strategic. I think that she could execute that. So naturally, women probably aren't naturally going to line up with that role. But if given the right education, given the right understandings and worldviews, I think they could execute.
You know what?
I don't disagree.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No,
Go
go
ahead,
ahead.
John
What the
Baptist.
fuck? No, go ahead. What the fuck? You go ahead. Rock it.
Yeah, she can study all she wants, but that's not going to get her the respect that she needs at a lower level meeting with people. And she can study all these things and read all this infrastructure, but when she goes to Syria to speak with the infrastructure there and the powers that be there, they don't care. When she goes to other countries, again, she knows and she's read all these things, great. But again, it's not going to translate because the people who are already in power in North Korea and South Korea, like the people in these Asian countries, they're not going to give her that same low-level respect that they would automatically give to a male president.
I have to
So
put
she would have
just
to be. She's hustling backwards. She's going to have to be proving herself all the time just to get a even level of respect that a male president would have come in and already have gotten.
That's where I think we cheat and we're not fair, because if you followed her like I have, because I'm actually a fan of this woman. I like the way she do business. I like the way she get down. She's faced men in every aspect and she beats their asses. Like she handles herself.
She has not.
She had to build that career through all the adversity, her being a woman and everything, and she has never backed down in every debate, in any court, in any situation she had. I ain't never seen her slip up. I seen Joe Biden slip up every day. I have never seen Candace Owen even crack under pressure.
So that actually brings up. Let me. I made notes on what you were saying, and really, I think a lot of women look at it that way. A lot of women look at it like, hey, I do all of these things and I've done the work and I have some of the outcomes. So I'll preface it by saying this. The strongest woman, the most capable woman can beat some men. That is absolutely true. You are absolutely right. The strongest, most capable man can beat everybody, men and women alike. So when we really look at it, women are even going to want a man in charge. So that's the first part. That's the way we look at it. Now, if, let's say, just like you said, we train a woman up, because to be quite honest, that's the Hillary Clinton narrative. She was actually, on paper, resume-wise, the most prepared person to assume the presidency. I don't give a damn. I'm a conservative and I just speak facts. Okay, I've taught before. I can't just sit up here and lie. Put resume on paper. She was the most prepared person ever to assume the presidency. All right? Literally lived in the White House before. So, but the difference is, and what one thing we never really realize, it's power itself that corrupts. It is not anyone's preparation for power. It is power itself that corrupts. I will make this distinction by the power that was given to women in the family court system. Do you think they abused it or not? Did they abuse it?
Absolutely abuse it.
Because they do not have the reasonability, the reason of men, the objectivity of men to get that type of power and do good with it. It is power itself that corrupts. It can corrupt men, but the strongest men will hold other strong men accountable. And usually everybody's going to want a man in that position. When you give power to a woman, that is when you'll see why we always just be like, you just go sit your ass down somewhere. Let the men get back up, because you've been prepped for this your whole life, and the power corrupted you almost instantly. That's my take on it.
I say the same thing about there was a shooting that happened in Houston, Texas, just the other day. Maybe last week, right before everyone found out about the one in Memphis, where this woman, firearms instructor, like a Texas woman, had a gun, and these men, this black guy tried to steal her purse, and he dropped the purse. The men came and tackled him, and he tried to run away. He didn't have the purse anymore. I mean, he was pretty much the dude. And the woman pulled out her gun and shot him in the back. And I was like, that woman's been preparing for that her entire life. She's been so practicing and like, training that when the moment came to have grace, she didn't, because she was so like, oh, now here's my chance to do what I've practiced. Whereas I think a man who has been in gun training would have understood in that situation, the gentleman didn't have your purse anymore. You have 6 men already surrounding him and like, going after him. He wasn't going to go far when he was running away. They would have caught him. Or you just let the police do their job. A man wouldn't have pulled his gun out and shot him in the back. Most men wouldn't have shot him in the back in that situation. So that's the situation that I think would happen with most women, where it's like, if you over prepare, then they'll be so ready and gung ho to use that knowledge that they have and not exude grace and pull back when maybe they need to.
I just wanted to say one thing about, like, when you say power corrupts, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I believe it's the possession of power that corrupts, and it's, for instance, just kind of making the point about women. All right. There was one woman that I had perceived, Cynthia G. Also, in my perspective, another powerful woman, I think, who run a government, you know what I'm saying? But when I first met Cynthia,
wait, is that running back looking ass chick on YouTube?
Yeah, she's terrible.
Oh hell, we timing you out, bro.
She chose the dark side, but listen, what I'm talking about, though. I hear what you're saying. Like I said, she is right now. She's took the wrong stand, and she is an enemy of the community. She is especially an enemy of Black men. I understand that principally, but I'm not emotional about it. What I'm saying is this: if you have followed this woman, all these dudes that want to quickly talk their shit, she's spanking us. Y'all, why even to say her name? Look how emotionally and triggered it gets you. So that says she has power. And when you first heard Cynthia G, if you followed her, she was on our side. And when she spoke in favor of the community, she was just as powerful of a voice as when she speaks against it. You can't deny it. It's like having the power. You can go to light or you can go to dark, right? She was on the light and she was a powerful voice, but then I guess there was more money in, more profits, more support, and taking up the whole feminist agenda, and she went that way, and now she's a powerful voice and a powerful force for feminism. Yeah. Same thing I saw about Candace Owens. These are powerful forces. These are powerful forces, and you got to respect that.
Well, I don't think I don't think there is a distinction. I mean, a similarity to be made between Cynthia G's platform and Candace Owens' platform. And one of the things I really like about Candace Owens is that she's a submissive woman. She does not downplay the power of family at all.
Let me put this quick spin on it.
Yeah.
When you think about Candace Owens, right, and how bad she is, right? Mm-hmm. All right, what if she was our pit bull and we were sicking her on the enemy, though? Look, think about it like that. What if she was doing the way she attacks us and the way she gets down? What if she was an agent, a CIA agent? What if her goal was to go into another country?
I think the Bible, Cynthia G is already, she could never come back to this side. In fact, Black men will kill her. Somebody's gonna kill her. Don't stay where you're at. Stay on the dark side because you can never come back over here. Some simp, who likes her broad shoulders will probably take her, but no, it's not even about being triggered by her or anything. That woman sound hurt, man. I didn't know who anybody was talking about. I thought they were talking about Kendra G. That's who I was watching. And then somebody said Cynthia G like some months ago, and they said something like Cynthia G said this, and I was like, that's not what. But I was referring to Kendra G.
Politically, let's be careful. Let's not give her a shine, and let's not give her, support and shit on your platform because she is against us. So politically, I was just thinking about the phenotype.
She's trash. Like she hurt. Like this is the crazy part about it. I only watched 2 of her things, but she misquotes stats. She misinterpret ones just so she could talk down on it. If I would respect anyone that is literally pounding facts through and saying what they don't like about it, I think that's what I do. This lady's trying to create a narrative.
What if you look at it
out of something that ain't even there?
We were building a conscious community, and this one woman is mentally sharp enough, verbally articulate enough that she came in and she basically destabilized it and turned a conscious community into a gender war community, has got all the women up in arms. Like she literally has turned a force that men literally are complaining every day about women because of her type. She has made men get on the online every day and cry about women because of her power. We can't even talk about men issues because everybody's up in arms and upset. Just look at the response you get from men just by bringing up her name. Now you want to discount that, but trust me, she's playing a tactical game and she's winning because she's got y'all triggered. You even say her name and y'all are upset.
Let me tell you for real. She's not winning anything.
I'm able to look past it and
I was
just
like,
see that
women are defecting. Women are defecting from that call. Like, here's the bad part about it. Me and her, let's say, have no similarities. I live the life that I talk about. I'm married to a black woman. I have 2 black children that live in my house. Me and her are nothing alike. If I'm not mistaken, she has a baby daddy she don't even like. She sound hurt by it. We are not the same. So she has no credibility. That's what I'm saying. When I talk, I can back it up just the way I live. I know why she's talking the way she's talking. She hurt, bro. Like,
do you follow her a little bit? Have you ever heard her speak?
I told you I watched.
All right, so
I had to go see. Yeah, I had to go watch 2 of her programs because I thought I got her mixed up with Kendra G.
So honest question for all the brothers on the panel. Are you confident that any debate, any arena debate, or intellectual debate arena that you enter into, you on one side, her on the other side, you are confident that you will whoop her?
I would whoop her ass.
I
just told you why. I just told you why. Look at the direction I'm talking from and the one she's talking from. Women naturally like to bring up people's past. They naturally like to stab people. But how can the reason let me tell you something about her and other women that talk down on black men so much. They better get all they can out now. The reason why they pretend to hate black men is because they're actually just still intimidated by us. People ask for the leaders to show up. Where are the black male leaders? Where are the black male leaders? We're here now. We're here. The dads are here. The clean cut men are here. The men with jobs are here. The men that go to work every day and take care of their family are here. There's no space for her anymore. It's shrinking. It doesn't matter how many followers she get. It's not the followers she's going to keep once we're done with these platforms.
I think I can bring her back.
No, she's gone for life.
Why do you think you could bring her back though? Why do you think? Why do you think that?
Because
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to ask you another question. Why do you think it's your job to bring her back?
I don't feel it's my job at all. But and I understand, like, I am very militant, bro, and I've reached, like, I don't even want to get into it because it's like bragging and boasting, but I understand strategy, tactics, military science, I understand this. Okay, I look at this woman and what she's saying. Personally, it don't hurt my feelings. I understand as America, capitalism, she's probably just doing it because there's a lot of bitter women out here. When she talks about pro-black stuff, she don't get no donations and stuff. But when she get on here and start talking about bitter black women, boy, the money rings in, and she having low ethics, low morals and stuff, she decided to go that route. You know what I'm saying? Because there's not a lot of profit in nation building. There's not a lot of profit in really helping and being about black people. But when you get on these channels and you start talking this gender war shit, boy, they pull up. Everybody got an opinion, boy. Everybody's got a comment, and and she simply went about that. But when I look at her, when I hear her speak, I'm proud of her. I just wish she wouldn't have went to the dark side. But when I hear her and the way she articulates her arguments, the way she prepares for her arguments, the way she executes her arguments, the way she handles herself and conducts herself, if I was the president, I would like her and Candace Owens on my left and right.
I have no issue you respecting someone's intelligence level and ability to communicate. That's because you don't have to hate someone because they could do something well.
Yep.
But just because you can do it well, don't mean I'm gonna rock with you and want the best for you.
But just understand, when you're dealing with nationalism, you got to understand, when you go out here in this particular objective, most of your race is against you, even if they don't understand that the way that they're living life, the things that they value, consumerism and everything, you're against the people. So you can point fingers at Candace Owens for doing what she's doing, but I point fingers at a lot of brothers that don't do nothing but just work for and consumer and aren't really part of nationalism. They're not doing nothing to build for the next
basically you're for, if I understand you correctly, I like Candace Owens too. Don't get me wrong. I think she's I think she's an intelligent person too. I think Cynthia G is an intelligent person.
I think she'd give me a run for my money.
But okay, and even that's the case, your message still matter. Your moral, your character still matter, right?
Yes, they do.
And so although you can espouse and communicate in such an intelligent way, that doesn't alleviate what you're saying.
What I'm saying is this: I hear what you're saying. Cynthia G chose the dark side. She's speaking negatively. But what if I told you? Remember, I just want to make the conversation more interesting, not just be a yes man and not just be group think up in here. I have a perspective of my own.
I got you.
So I feel that just as negative her doing her feminism stuff, the way that you guys be up on here basically attacking women is kind of just the opposite. It's always negative, and so when we speak about our sisters, it's negative. We kind of get in that temperament too. We kind of get in that way.
I don't think I can draw many comparisons. I have not used the B word up in here, and we definitely don't even disparage women. We literally talking about the realities of women. So women can view, so men and women who view us as leaders of the community can understand a woman's nature. We talk about a woman's nature. Like you ain't hear nobody ever like that, this. You see what I'm saying? It's like we talk about a woman's nature, their natural position in the family. Like go look at the other topics, gender roles. Like we're talking about things that are actually really family related. They're just contentious topics in the U.S.
So what if I confronted the men on the panel and said, as a bunch of men, we have come together and for 2 or 3 or 4 days, we've come together and here we are. Why is the topic always about what women are, what they can't do and their incompetency and everything?
Because we as men understand that there's a role that men and women are supposed to play, especially from my background, because I come from a spiritual background. And so when I see men, and my expectation is that men and women have a certain role. And if you're not in your role, it's my job to call it out. Doesn't mean I hate you. Doesn't mean I want the worst for women. I love women. Well, to be specific, I love my wife, and by product, I love women in general because they're human beings that God created. Yep. But I also have a job to do, and my job as a man is to make sure that we all stay in line with God. For my personal belief, everybody might not be a Christian like I am or a believer in Christ, so you might have the same expectations. But
if you're in your role, there's no way for her to be in it. So if you're doing your job as a man, if you're handling your business as a man, there's no reason why a woman can even become a complaint. What can she do if you're playing your role? She has no choice but to.
All right, we gotta get back on track on this one.
Yes,
we got 2 people on the panel.
Yes, sir.
We got to get back on track. Pharaoh, I think you were up first, and we'll get to JC. What do you got on the topic in general, sir?
Well, first of all, peace and love to each and every one of you brothers. Hope you're all having an amazing, prosperous, productive, purposeful, and peaceful day. I'm coming to you guys from Pattaya, Thailand. So I'm halfway across the world. I'm one of the passport bros. Well, technically, I'm a black expat, not a passport bro, because I live here now. But I was listening to the conversation for a while. I've only been in for a short time, but you're all making some strong points. I'm a huge fan of Candace Owens. I love what the sister's talking about. I love her style. I love how she's calling out the BS at times. And in reference to Cynthia G, I have some content that talks about her as well. I mean, this is the woman that was advocating for the unaliving of black male babies inside the mother's womb. So these are problems in the community, and it's getting pretty bad out there. I'm halfway across the world, and and I know this might be a little off topic because the issue I'm thinking about is how some of our women are so upset, and they've been known to bash women from other countries in an effort to insult us, brothers that are traveling around the world, to the point where they see it out here. the people in other countries, they see how they're acting, and it's painting them in a really, really negative light, to the point where there's women out in the Philippines and out here in Thailand are responding back pretty harshly, and it's giving them a reputation of being the worst type of women to have in the world. And now that's not from my opinion. This is from what people have been saying, and my experiences traveling the world. Like I said, I've been out the country since July of last year. But forgive me if I'm a little nervous here because it's my first time up on this panel with you brothers. But I just all I wanted to add to it, and that's it for right now.
Yeah, appreciate that. I mean, damn, that was bars. I mean, you definitely spoke some game. I forgot about that stuff because when I did my deep dive into that lady, right, I don't even want to give her a platform. I'm like, you are hurt. You are like hurt. Immediately, I was like, she got to have a baby daddy somewhere that canceled Christmas on her or something. Because it's, and the CEO was right on one thing. He's like, damn, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Hey, only one thing, Mike.
Yeah. Candace Owens, we like her over here. I like her. She sounds like any conservative mom I know. I've been listening to women that sound like Candace Owens. They're just not the loudest ones anymore, but they coming back up. But JC, what's going on? What you got on the topic in general, sir?
Hey, how's it going, gentlemen? Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
All right, perfect. Just wanna let me see if I can gather my thoughts precisely here on the topic of female leadership. I don't think anybody's saying that women are incapable of leading. I think they are great influencers. I think if put in the right predicament, they can be great leaders depending on the situation at hand. And coming from a biblical standpoint, we see that even in the book of Judges with Deborah, she was a military leader. She wasn't ordained by God, but providentially she was placed there by him because that was a sign of a judgment on the nation of Israel. And the reason why it was a sign of judgment was because Isaiah talked about it. He said that God's people were being oppressed by quote unquote children, and his people are being ruled over by women, right? Because naturally, instinctively, we all know women are the weaker vessel. Not saying that they're not valuable. It's just the reality of life. Men are more stronger than them, more emotionally, more grounded than them. We think more logically overall, just speaking in generalities here, right? The thing is that when you have somebody of a weaker demeanor, weaker vessel being ruled over you, over a man, it just shows a picture that your nation and your people are just crippled. You're powerless as a nation. That's what it's showing. And Deborah, as a good quote unquote leader that God allowed for her to be there in that specific time, in that specific era, she herself wanted a man to step up and be that leader that God is calling and ordaining for men to lead in that military situation, right? She said, she even, I think the name was or Barak. I don't know how to pronounce it in the Hebrew terms, but she told him, if you don't go, then I don't want to go. She was pretty much telling him, I need you to lead here as a man. You are called for leadership. You are called to do this. So I think when we talk about this whole female leadership situation, I think we have to look at the context and everything. It's not that they're incapable of. I think it's just not the natural order for them to do so. Second
Correct.
point as well. My pastor, we do he does free counseling here in Miami. And one of the things that we come across when we do marital counseling, and I pick his brain out a little bit regarding, male and female, relationship dynamics and so forth. One of the biggest complaints that he has is that the woman tells us, my husband doesn't lead. I want my husband to lead. So there's women out there that are great influencers. They might be great leaders in certain predicaments and everything in the household and so forth, and even have some great insights and wisdom that some men at times need to actually pay attention and be, considerate of, but they're not built for it in the long term. They're looking for a man to lead. They're looking for it. They're yearning for it. They might not say it outwardly, but eventually the burden will weigh down on them. And they're gonna request it. So that's just my 2 cents on that.
So JC, think about it this way: they are saying it. Remember, fellas, I said Men don't lead by desire. We're not out here beating on our chest. We lead by expectation. If you're able to interpret what women are really saying, everything that they're talking about in this feminist movement, the post-feminist movement, the women that are trying to defect and are on Cynthia, even her, if you take the time to listen to what they actually saying, they're saying, I made mistakes. I need you to take back control. I messed up. They never talk about the part where they screwed up, only what they want the men to do after the fact. That is basically them saying, take control of society because I can't do it. I messed up. I made a bad step. I made a misinterpretation thinking this was for me. And this actually goes into the next topic. But I wanted to touch on something I forgot to write here that CEO DMP said, or something we were talking about before. We actually don't do the things some men do, but most men like me and other platforms, the reason why we have these type of discussions and these topics is because the Black community in general is not on a level playing field. We are challenging delusions. We're not starting off from where everybody else is starting off from to fix their problems. We had a problem. Women think they're equal to us. We got a real problem. Women think they're better than the men. We can't start till we fix those delusions. How you telling me to step up and lead, but you're saying you're equal to me? Get your ass back there so I can lead. That's what we're doing on YouTube. That's why we're sitting here dispelling myth after myth and telling you. That's why we did the post-apocalyptic thing. What would you even do? Do you understand that? We didn't even talk about this yesterday. A world with only women has no plumbing. What happens when they cycles start and they can't flush the toilet? Come on, man.
I just
And
want to
no
say
internet either. No
one
internet
point.
either, because we created the internet and things like that. I mean,
So we're
and it's
trying
not that
to we're trying to equalize their mind, like just get them to realize the most basic things other women not only realize but appreciate in men. That appreciation comes back. Yeah.
One of the illusions that we have is one illusion that we're trying to be equal. One of the things we got to realize is that if you go to Muslim, a Eastern culture that's ran by Muslim or Christianity, what you won't see is a struggle for the men to be in charge, because they don't play around with this. And so they get the reputation around the world that Muslim men are just hateful men, or Christian men in the Eastern are just hateful men. They're not. They just understand the danger when things get out of order. And what does it look like when you get out of order? Well, leave the East and come to the West. And so you look at the East, they look at us, they're like, why would I want to look like y'all?
Yeah, and that's precisely why a lot of women like out here, like in Thailand, most of them say they'll go to America to visit, but if they married somebody from the States, they do not want to move to the States because they don't want to become like that. They see the way that women are acting in America, and it quite frankly disgusts them because they all but deified the American Black women because they saw them as a standard of all things beautiful and like cool and in the world, until they started, going down this path they're going down. Yep. And now it's actually just left a bad taste in their mouth now. Like sisters that come here to Thailand, right? They get the side eye at first until they start showing a respectful spirit coming from them. Then all of a sudden, they're once again treated like queens out here. I mean, it's literally that bad around the world. They have tainted the reputation around the planet.
Yeah, we deify women in our culture, and whenever you make a woman a god, you setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah, and they see us as lesser than. They don't even see us as
yeah.
They see us literally as lesser than.
Look at the way it's set up, because, like I said, we're on these platforms to dispel myths. I see someone in the chat say, "Why are my topics always negative?" If you notice, my topics always get turned around. There's always a bigger picture here. It's to bring you in. Right? We try to talk about it. We try to hit the things from both sides. But let me ask this question to see if we can dive deeper into it because I don't know why I'm brain farting.
Can I give a disclaimer real quick? Just real quick. And this is personally to you, Trigger Mike Show. First and foremost, I want you to understand that I love your show, that it's really like saving my life right now. It's doing a lot for me. Like it was a godsend. And where I'm coming from, despite what I'm hearing, you guys might think that I'm trying to defend a cape for the women, but believe it or not, this is my red pill rage. Like, if I could tell you my story, I'm going through it right now. The last woman I was with for 7 years ended up duping me, robbing me, using my kids against me, try to do it. And I came up in a household where a mother was very bitter and stuff like that, and try to do a lot of things to tear me down coming up. I went through that whole stuff. Mm-hmm. In my phase in transitioning to becoming a better man, I realized I can't allow that to cause me to be angry and bitter with women. This is my fight against. This is my red pill rage. This is my fight against, because right now I want to set up another channel to have like a red pill rage channel, because I really be wanting to get at these sisters about, but I feel like it's weak us. I feel like they have been able to get a lot of our men in a bitter state to where we're doing the same thing in reverse. We get online and all the conversation is shitting on females, and I just I felt it. And when I first went out online, I had a lot of beef, and I just didn't like what I saw. So I try to fight against it and just try to maintain my balance and my equilibrium.
But see,
but that's the
CEO. You're not CEO. You're not fight. What you're coming to realization of is, like you said, your experience of what you went through with the situation with your ex-girl for 7 years, and you're saying you don't want to come back and do the 100% opposite of what and be what she was. What we're saying is, for at least 50 or 60 years in America, black men have tried to use stats, statistic information, stories to get women to see why it's best to have this order that man, woman, and child. And for 50, 60 years, I don't care how you say it, you can say it 10,000 ways, 10,000 different days, and the message is overlooked. Where you just don't want to, you don't like us. It's not about we don't like. We're trying to show you what's best. And it's not that we're not coming from a hateful spot. We come from a spot of loving you women.
But just bouncing off of what you're saying, we've been going through this for a long time. You see, we're not making no gain and getting nowhere talking to these women. So we might as well consider.
Well, I was going to say there is one minor caveat to that. There's one minor caveat to that. The reason why it seemed like we're not making progress is because the black man's voice has been void, but the black woman's voice has been amplified. There were powerful men that said, put them out. Don't give them a platform. Cancel them. Anytime they try to talk, silence them. So black women alone indoctrinated their own daughters. They indoctrinated their sons. They took full custody. They missed visitation and did all of that to bring the children, the community, and the world in general to look black men as unsuitable and unfavorable as mates. Guess what, world? We're back.
Did that against you.
Well, the world the world does not view us that way. We are the most desired and revered men on this planet.
You gotta let me finish, Pharaoh. You gotta let me finish. We're back. When the 2020 census came out, half black men don't even have kids. Y'all told us we all had 3 or 4, and we don't take care of them. Half black men don't even have kids. Y'all have twice as many kids as we do because y'all wouldn't listen, and y'all all going after the same dudes. Y'all lied on us, changed the narrative on us. So at the very least, y'all got to give us a couple years to get the story straight. That's what we're here to do.
It's so that black men were the most involved in our children's lives, as well as it also said that not only are we the most involved in our children's lives, but also a child being raised just by a single father will have the exact same outcome, statistically speaking, as a 2-parent household. Meanwhile, if a child is being raised by a single mother, they're more likely to have problems and with crime or education and things of that sort. I didn't mean to interrupt you, brother. Continue. Go ahead.
Can I touch on this this is Ken John. Good afternoon, brothers. So I heard the brothers speaking about Candace Owens and Cynthia G. I think Candace has passed a certain threshold to where she's more conservative, and I think everyone knows that. And I think everyone knows, just like Jason Whitlock, Candace Owens has Christian beliefs and values. Everybody knows that. So what's the hidden agenda? Everyone knows she's married to a white man. She believes in family union. Let's get past that. Whether she can be a vice president or not, that's up for debate. This is gaslighting. All right. You can gaslight someone on YouTube, Clubhouse, Twitter. You can gaslight them to buy your books, to buy your course. You can gaslight people to get the effect that you want, which would get the clicks, the likes, the algorithm. YouTube will pay you and take out the percentage. What I'm trying to say here is one of these women are gaslighting the heck out of the other women, and she's creating content and she's gaining off of that just pearly things. She admitted over 10 times, I'm doing this not to give advice, but for the entertainment. And she's always entertained when she does a show. But that's her niche. That is her niche. She admitted. Is she gaslighting so you can buy Just Pearly's course? No. Is she gaslighting so you could come to her sessions? No. But here we are. We have some people gaslighting you so you can take the deeper rabbit hole dive down with them, which would lead to divesting in Cynthia G's case. So this is all I'm saying. Some people are doing evil and gaslighting you to lead you to a rabbit hole, and some people are authentically just trying to have fun, laugh, and be entertained.
Just to touch on a little bit on what you were saying, Kenjon. To be honest, I don't try to look at the people's intentions of why they're doing whatever it is that they're doing, right? We can talk about all these content creators, but the important thing is that these conversations are being had. There's money to be made anywhere, so I don't knock anybody's hustle. If a white girl wants to go ahead and make red pill content, good on her. If a black woman wants to make a red pill content, good on her. That's a side hustle that pretty much 90% of YouTube is coming in nowadays. But the conversation is being had. That's the important part. The thing is that I understand CEO DMP's statement that a lot of times when we do get into these red pill spaces, it can be a sense of, man, you guys really talk down a lot about women. I can understand. I see his point of view in that, and I've seen it as well. But at the same time, I know Trigger Mike's intentions with these type of panels is to have the discussion, and he puts the accountability on both ends. He will call a man out if he's failing in his position as well. He will call women out when they're failing in their position as well. I think that balance needs to be had, because listen, this has been happening since the dawn of time. The person that was tainted without the influence in the biblical times and everything like that, he even failed to be a leader to his own wife, and then his wife ended up eating the other half of the forbidden fruit, right? And that's part of the curse. God even said it in his word. Part of the curse is that a woman would want to will have the desire of her husband. What did that mean? That she would want to usurp over the authority of her husband. That is the natural thing, what happened in the curse. And that's why we are in the position that we are in today. And the only remedy with this is to have a change of mind, understand that there are specific roles that caters to specific genders, right? And lead by example and do what we need to do as men, and women need to do themselves as women as well. And if there's a woman that does not submit to that type of standard, as a man, as a leader that you have been called to be by the natural order, you just continue moving until you find that woman that holds that standard. And the same way as a woman, if a woman sees that this man is not up to standard according to the natural order of what he's capable of or what he needs to be doing, then you, ma'am, you need to step out of bounds and just sit in the benches until another man comes for you and everything and picks you up. A man that's actually going to lead you. It goes both ways. It goes both ways. And I've been in the whole red pill rage as well, but there needs to be a balance. There really does.
All right, so we're gonna
I'm going to step down, brother.
Hold
So I
on.
appreciate you guys having me on. I'm going to step down. But I just want to say one last thing. It seems like the culture in America has gotten so bad that it seems like that toxicity has become the official love language of our people and our culture, and it's unsustainable. So what we as men have to do is figure out a way to rectify this, and I hope we can figure out a way to get this done. But once again, I appreciate you guys having me on.
I think you had the right solution. You just moved out this bug.
Yeah.
And listen, I commend you.
My story is, though, I was homeless 2 years ago, and I went from homeless to world traveler. And I decided just to be able to figure out a way to get my finances together. I'm a disabled vet, so I was able to get the benefits I should have been getting for years. I finally got it. And I said, okay, I'm gone. And I went straight to Thailand,
man.
and I've been I stay in a beautiful condo where I pay $535 a month for rent, utilities, Wi-Fi, cell phone service,
All right.
motorbike,
Don't
all the
persuade me,
combined.
man. I'm about to be out with
It's
you.
selling, it's selling.
Whoa, what?
Hey,
We'll be in
Pharaoh,
touch.
quick,
Hey, man,
$535 a month, y'all.
hey,
come
Pharaoh,
on up. Hey, look, I'm about to be at 100% in a few months. The people working on my case right now, bro.
Come on out here, bro. I tell you what,
Don't
if you
tempt
come
me.
out here, man, I have like 11,000 followers on TikTok. I'm trying to do things out there, telling people to come out here. I've had 3 brothers come out here so far, and so far every last one of them said, "Yeah, I'm living here." One didn't even go back. He's like, "Look, I'll say my wife and kids to come out
Hey,
here."
brother, what if
like
I said you now missing in action? What if I said you went AWOL?
No, DMP, we gotta let Relentless go. We know you're trying to nation build, and he can't nation build with absent brothers. I know where you're going with this.
Right.
There's a bunch of brothers out here. It's a bunch of brothers
Let's
out here.
get that's colony building. That nation belong to them. That's colony building. Relentless, what's going on? Welcome.
What's up? Can everybody hear me good?
Yep.
All right, good. All right. I was listening to JC. Is that how you pronounce your name correctly?
Yep.
Everything you just said is what just pearly things to some of these other people. I'm not gonna talk about like a fresh and fit, but everything you just said is what they always be saying, just the truth, order, and understanding of the roles in that order. But yet, the brother before you who was speaking, he was using the word gaslighting. Why is the truth always labeled something harsh to demean something? That's the shit that pisses me off, because it's like, excuse my language, but it's just like, why come when we're talking about what is natural as well as what is the order, and even when you deliver it sometimes like a Kevin Samuels, where it is hard to swallow but it's still the truth, it's always demonized, especially if it's coming from a man of color. That's the thing that I personally am not going to label, like, not even just a man of color, but for anybody, it's like, I'm not going to call the truth gaslighting, misogynistic, whatever the case may be, because there's an order to these things, and it just, all it does is just create unnecessary noise.
Yep.
That is true. So
Yeah,
that is true. I mean, we've explored this many times. It literally, people are more comfortable. The lie is more entertaining. That's really all it is. But when it comes to in fact, this actually goes into the next question. What really it's about is that the truth, as we're trying to define it, also has a degree of blame in it. The reason why they like the entertaining lie is because it's all about glory.
Yeah.
So look at how feminism and its key role, it has a key characteristic in it. To prop women up, you have to put men down. You have to take our voice away. So when men speak, as you said it, truth, it's a natural truth. It was true before we even started speaking. It'll be true after we've done said all the words. But it takes away from their lie because they can no longer put us down to prop themselves up. So we notice that women don't like truth because it comes with accountability. If for you to say, you have to bring yourself back down to the natural level you're at to be able to accept that truth. So who's going to choose a puffed up chest and a fake muscle suit over having less muscles? That's the way women look at it. It's like, what can I have for dinner? A steak, or should I be eating lean cuisine that's actually good for me? You know what they're going to choose.
Yeah, it's something that I know Logic said a while ago on a panel where he was talking about women choose comfort food. He said the truth is what's good for you, but what are ultimately people going to choose? They're going to choose the Hostess cupcakes and the Twinkies and the McDonald's. They're not going to want the broccoli. They're not going to want the lean meat. They're not going to want the rice. They're not going to want those things that actually give you what you need. But it's just one of those things when something like feminism, for example, it is one of those things where it pushes this beautiful lie and shames the truth. Like, and it's something that a lot of these women don't want to hear because they're so busy living comfortably in the lie. And I honestly feel bad because some of these people do deserve to have good lives. They do deserve to have the best amenities for them, good men, good families, be good mothers. But it's like they're so caught up in this lie because they hurt from something that they latching on to this so hard. And I just don't know why.
Hey, relentless. You just said something about the word deserve.
Okay.
We got to be careful with that word. And I know what you're saying. I'm not trying to be a butthole about it.
Yeah, you're
but
right.
when you say deserve, that's part of the mindset that we live in America now. We think we deserve something without working for it. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve anything until you put forth the effort.
You're right.
And not even. Matter of fact, let me be more correct. Just because you put forth the effort, don't even mean you deserve it.
No, I agree.
I'm not. Yeah, I know you are. I'm really not talking to you right now. I'm just talking to the people that's listening.
Right.
Because just because you think you deserve it, no. When you put forth the work, you make the mistakes, you grow and you learn, and you correct the mistakes. After you correct the mistakes, if you did make another move and it works out for you, now we can start talking about maybe you deserve it. But deserving comes with time.
No, that's fair. I don't disagree with that at all. I don't.
Yeah.
All right,
And that wasn't just for you.
Let's get to the next question. This is probably the last one before we get out of here for today. All right. So this is actually an easy question to answer, but I'm gonna go around. We're gonna start with DMP. This is one of the reasons why I even talk about these type of topics and why I need men to step up and lead your home, because this is the ultimate answer. All right. If women do indeed ruin our society, who's responsible for fixing it? CEO DMP, you first.
Men. Simple as that. I believe not only are men responsible for fixing it, but men have to take responsibility that we had a environment in which women could ruin it. Like, it's like if you got a kid that has wrecked your home, burnt your house down, yes, you got to fix it. But why was your house ran in a way to where your kid could ruin everything,
Yeah.
And we keep on saying how incompetent and incapable these women are. So how are they fucking up so much then? Where's our control? Where's our authority? Where's our management? Where's our administration? Where's our government? How are women causing so much problem?
Because the powers that be give them the power. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Put that in your answer.
Everyone thinks that men have the power to create this. The people who are truly the ones that run the world are the ones that give the women this power over men. So again, it's not like men built this system for women to have the power to do the things that they are doing to us. It's the powers that be that realize that they make more money in capitalism by giving women power over the men lower than them.
But let's even with that, and I'm not gonna get out of turn. I just want to shoot back. When it comes to men running their nation, we have to look at that as an enemy, a strategy to destabilize, and it worked. We lost.
Yeah.
White society, whatever you want to call it, the system, the powers that be, and their competition with black economy came up with a strategy, incorporated our women, attacked, and it worked. Where's our defense? Where's our offense? Where's our counteract? Where's our military operation to regain control of our women and regain control of our economy? Do we just complain because they put this shit down, or do we say that's your move? No, it's my move.
Have you ever seen the movie Office Space?
I didn't hear that.
Have you ever seen the movie Office Space?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sometimes the best thing to do is just stop playing the game. And I think that's what a lot of men are doing. And some men see that as a problem. But again, I think sometimes when you stop playing the game, you can take a step back and see how it's running and then approach the game differently.
You do remember,
and I think what needs to happen is
the greater game is men versus men. So you're saying that because women somehow got in here, we're gonna drop the ball and stop playing and let everybody keep on whooping our asses just because the women are fucking up. No, I'm trying to beat white men. I'm trying to beat other men.
Let's get around. We'll open this up for. We'll open the entire discussion up for discussion on that. Let's get John the Baptist. You're next. If women ruin our society, who's responsible for fixing it?
It's a two-part response. The first response is, I'm looking for the person that screwed it up, which is the woman in this case. You need to come to me and apologize, repent, and then show me that you're ready to rebuild. Once you repent, apologize, and show me good faith that you want to go forward, and you prove to me that you want to go forward, I'm gonna go rebuild this thing. And when I rebuild it, as I'm rebuilding it, along the way, you got to show me the same effort like you did in the repent and turning away, and you're gonna follow everything I say do. At any point in time that you're not doing it as I respond, as I ask you to do, this process will not continue.
That makes a lot of sense. And look, you a whole daddy out here because you said before anything, you gonna say you sorry. You gonna say you sorry. I can't read that.
Why are you
waiting on women?
waiting on women?
Why?
No,
is them-
no, you no. Okay, I will wait. We will talk about this later, like he said. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk. W Font went already. JC, if women ruin our society, and I
Where
mean
did I
women
go?
leadership, huh?
It's all good.
Oh, you know what? You responded. I took that as a response. So you got something general on it. We're gonna go to Funk, and I mean women in leadership. Like if they took leadership or got elected to lead, if they ruin our society, who's responsible for fixing it?
The person who broke it. And I think this is how I look at it. If women ruin society, then everyone that wants something different needs to build something different separate from that. I think that if women so-called ruin the society and make it so horrible, then I think while that's happening, there has to be men like ourselves or even women who align with this, that we need to already be building away from them. So when that society is already fucked up, we already have something built here that's working in an infrastructure. And then we can pick and choose the certain people to incorporate into the society that's already functioning and working. But as far as rebuilding a broken society, absolutely not.
But you'll continue to contribute to a broken society.
JC.
All right. I'm gonna say men, obviously. But it's a twofold answer, just like John the Baptist said. I'll say that men are to blame for allowing the serpent to go into the garden and should have cut off the head to begin with. And then women are to blame for actually believing the lie as well. Right? Because this is what tends to happen as well. And even in the Hispanic culture started adopting some of the feminist movement when telenovelas started coming out into play in their countries. They started having less and less children, right? Hispanics were popping out maybe 13, 14 children, to one man and so forth. Then it dwindled down to like 6 to 5. And now if you ask a Latina, you can go to Cuba, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and so forth, they maybe want 3, 4, some will even say 2. Why? Because throughout the 1950s, even the 60s and so forth, and throughout that time frame, once telenovelas started coming out, the men allowed the influence, this ideology, to creep into the home, right? In order for them to be entertained with these ideologies that a woman now is getting exposure to more men, to higher class men and everything. She has less and less children and so forth. And then these women are buying into this lie that they're entitled to that as well. And they want to experience that type of lifestyle. So if men are able to catch the lies before it creeps into the home, I think we would make a better society as a whole. So men do need to fix it because the responsibility starts with us. It does start with us, but at the same time, women need to stop believing the lies. If a man is calling out the lie and saying, "Hey, this is a lie. There's a whole false ideology that's standing on quicksand," and the woman believes it, then that's on her. Now that's her responsibility. Hey, kick rocks, but it starts with the men. We need to fix it.
Absolutely. Relentless. If women ruin our society, who's responsible for fixing it?
I'll start by saying this. I definitely see where everyone is coming. And I think that every answer is valid, but I'm saying the women. Because why am I responsible for what a grown-ass person does wrong? Like, I get the talking points of what everyone is saying. I genuinely do, and I think that's good conversation. But unless it's my daughters, that I'm molding into citizens, why am I responsible for Keisha down the block who fucking up her home? Why am I responsible for the sorority girls who all screaming black men ain't shit with letters on? Like that ain't my mess to clean up. That's theirs. Like so that's just my perspective of it. Like I understand what we're saying about the men, you know, enabling it, and I do think that's a fair talking point. However, at some point, when do we hold grown ass people accountable? And when do we let them fix their mistakes? I'm not into hand holding. Like I worked with kids and I worked with adults. You hand hold for children, not adults.
I agree with
Ooh,
that too. I agree with that.
yeah.
I
I'd,
agree.
I'd
I
have
agree with
been.
that,
You know,
realist.
there are some people on YouTube that say women are children. So if
Oh,
he
I
was
know
on the
Miss.
panel right now, he would
Oh,
have
I know.
disagreed.
Women are children. I know,
Yeah.
Mr. Lexus.
So
I got. I got.
somebody can have a natural disagreement with that.
I got a
Uh,
question.
yeah,
I'm sorry. How you doing, Trigger Mike? How everybody doing?
What's up, Chucky?
good.
Um, I got a question. I was just listening to the. I think JC. I got a question. How can you help somebody that don't want to be helped?
Mm.
Look, you about to derail the
You
convo.
can't. No,
You
okay.
going?
No, no, no,
I'll
no.
keep it simple.
No, he got to give
It's
a
going.
point.
It's
You got
going.
to
It's
give a
going with the
point.
question.
No,
I
no,
agree. I agree with what I think relentless.
hold
What he
on.
was just talking about.
Trucker.
I've kept it
Let's
simple.
get D Town. D Town was next, and then that's going to be a part of your
Oh, okay.
answer.
I'm
All right,
sorry. I'm sorry. My
no
bad.
doubt, no doubt. D Town, what's going on? You there? Try to talk again. I think you're muffled.
Okay, that's better. Can you hear me?
That's better. Uh, if women ruin our society
Still
with
muffling?
their leadership, who's responsible for fixing it?
Well, just like yeah. Okay, I can say I'm a little youngster, man. I'm like 28. You know what I'm saying? About to get married, got me a little, family trying to do it, just like Papa and them did, and like y'all, man. You get what I'm saying? But at the
Mm-hmm.
sister that understand, we not really trying to save nothing, bro. That we ain't fix up or we ain't mess. You get what I'm saying? For the
Yeah.
longest, bro, all our lives we've been hearing men ain't nothing, men ain't this, men ain't that. Even from our mamas. You get what I'm saying? So now since it's our time to get into the situation, man, we gonna be way our daddies was, even though they don't give our daddies no grace. You get what I'm saying? Mama couldn't do no wrong, but daddy did everything. Young men starting to realize that once they get older and they start dealing with women, and when I say dealing with women, I mean women that don't have like no ties to you. Your mama gonna love you, so she gonna keep it real with you. Me mom gonna love you, so they gonna keep it real with you. But a woman that just wants you for your what you can do for them, we starting to see that, bro. It's really not genuine like it used to be back in the day. You get what I'm saying? So now we just starting to get way more smarter and strategic on how and who we teach or who we touch. And I'm a big component that everybody can't graduate. Everybody just can't go. So I feel like everybody just not able to go. You get what I'm saying? You need to line yourself
Mm-hmm.
up the right way and then follow the right man or follow the right woman. But I feel like everybody is not able to go. But the person that should correct the situation is women. I feel like it's women. If I'm failing in college, I'm gonna have to go to the dean and basically ask to get back into school. My mama can't go. My me mom can't go for me. My brother can't go for me. I gotta do it. You get what I'm saying? And then I gotta follow the program to basically let them know that I'm serious about trying to get back into school. You get what I'm saying? So to me, honestly, I feel like the women should do it because I feel like the men ain't changed. We've been doing exactly our standards is held exactly what we have to do. And we know that. But women is the ones that changed. You get what I'm saying? So I'm like, they gotta come with it so we can be better together.
Yep.
So you want
All
them to be
right,
the
Trucker,
lead.
you'll go.
Yeah. Just to let you know, D-Town. Most mothers don't keep it all the way 100 with their sons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just keep it all the way 1,000. Most mothers will actually send their sons out to the wolves just to keep it all the way 1,000. So, but salute to
Definitely.
the good mothers.
Definitely.
I'm
And
just
I
saying.
agree with that.
And I was just asking earlier because I was listening to JC saying it was the men's problem, and I'm sitting there saying, well, how can you help somebody that don't want to be helped? Cheeky put up a video of a guy and a woman, the same thing we're doing right now. I think the video was from 1969 or something like that. And everything we having conversations about, including right now, is the same thing he been saying. Ain't nothing changed since 1970. So how can we help somebody that don't want to change? Like we got, I mean, think about it. We got women over here, literally trying to desecrate historical black men. You see it every day. You ain't heard not one thing about any historical woman being put down or nothing. So
That
why are we sitting here trying to have conversations about saving women that don't want to be saved? I say save the 10-20% that want to do the right thing and apologize, like John the Baptist said, that want to do the right thing, and the rest of y'all can go walk into a burning home.
that's pretty much exactly what I said. You know, that's the advice that I tell young men and men in general. I'm like, listen, if you know your value, right? Don't be messing around with these chicks from the streets, dog. Like, what are you doing? You're just wasting your valuable time. You get what I
Yeah,
mean? If she doesn't uphold, if she doesn't live by a standard that you uphold on, then keep it moving, kick rocks. There's gonna be another woman that's gonna be for you, maybe, that's gonna have the same standards and the same, viewpoints,
yeah,
ideologies as you,
and
and that's
Yeah.
it. Keep it moving. Like
and
we're not
and
here to
and
save
and
people.
and
We're here to make a society
Right.
better, and those
and,
that want
and
to
the thing
change,
is, we also got the old heads. Like for instance, I was dating this girl one time, right? And my grandmother just met her for the first time. My grandma, old school. She met her one time, literally right in front of her. She was like, "Get rid of her." Literally, she was not joking. Like, get rid of her. She was absolutely right. What you seeing today is the other, is the opposite. They will fucking let their own kids drown. That's what you saw. That's coming from women. Women was like, "Oh, well, just give her a chance. Oh, she'll learn. She's just young." Like,
yeah,
that's bullshit.
yeah.
Right.
And
Knowing
But
good,
that's not
that's
what I'm
bullshit.
advocating, and
but
that's
to
Can I
not
say
respond to
one
what
Trump,
I'm
say
All
one
right.
advocating
thing?
for.
So
Trigger
let me
Mike.
give my answer. I'm gonna give my answer on this. Let me. Somebody got a little bit of
Can I
static.
say one more thing real fast? Trigger Mike.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, and I was gonna say too, and y'all don't understand how much y'all really helping us out, man. Young black men like myself and men that I run around. You know, just like I say, I'm 28, 29. So you get what I'm saying? I'm the next generation of era of men, you know. And y'all don't understand how it feels, bro, just to hear black men come together and just talk, bro. For so long, bro, we
Mhm.
never had black men to talk for us or even have that masculinity or things like that, bro. Y'all don't understand. Y'all really helping us out. Like, y'all truly helping us out. And the first person to do it, God rest his soul, is Kevin Samuels. You know what I'm saying? To really get us
Yeah.
on attention and
He
just,
wasn't. He wasn't.
have
He
them
wasn't the
young.
first. He
Oh,
wasn't
no,
the first.
not the
He wasn't
first
the
one.
first
No,
one.
he's not the first. Yeah, he's not the first, but I'm just going to give
He's the
credit
most
where credit
popular
due. You know
though.
what I'm saying? Right, that's all I'm gonna say. I don't feel like Martin Luther King was the first to do what he did, but he did what he did. You get what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah.
all I'm saying. I just want y'all to know that y'all are really appreciated, bro, and we really thank y'all for doing this type of things for us, bro. Because if we
Hey
just
man.
keep listening to our mamas and our grandmas, bro, we'll be confused, bro. I'm telling y'all. So thank
mm,
Hey man. Hey, respect, man. For real, for real. So CEO, I told you. I told you. I said the black, man. Forget that. The masculine male voice been missing from media, any
mm.
kind of media, for 30 years, simply because women were given power over the programming. Do y'all remember the shows that used to be on BET before they got a female CEO? When the last time any man here has watched BET? Raise your hand.
The last time was in
When they get
19.
the power, they tell their own stories the way they want to tell it. I want to tell you right now, like men, I want to say this before I get into my answer. Men got an obligation to empower their brothers.
Mm.
Always empower your brothers. You give a man a power. He may create a family. and he likely will. You give a woman power, watch her destroy that shit. That is what's going on here.
Yeah.
These boys need to hear us, our side of the story. I like when he said he didn't even have a masculine perspective from anywhere because they've been suppressing it. That is one of the characteristics of feminism. How can women make themselves seem more powerful against men who are naturally more powerful? They got to suppress us, our voice, our narrative, our natural dominance in order to get their story out. So you're always welcome. But let me get to my answer about the question at hand. If women ruin our society, who's responsible for fixing it? By default, men are. Here's why. Women don't fix anything they break in life. They don't fix anything they break. Ladies, this isn't even a shot. Y'all have started wars. Y'all didn't fight that shit. We did. Come on. Women don't fix anything. The question was a trap. Women can't fix it. They don't fix anything. What is the number one narrative on YouTube or any social platform when women and men are on the panel? Women take what? Know what? Accountability.
Yeah.
Ever. I believe it's biological. When a man is present, a woman is incapable of taking accountability. Women, the black community is fighting against women and their narrative because they say, well, men aren't superior. Women, y'all show us we're superior every single day because in our presence, you don't want to take accountability or blame for anything. You put all the blame on us. You only show up for the glory. You want to get behind me when it's time to blame somebody. Women don't fix anything that they break. Now, as it comes to DMP's favorite point, which is nation building, and what we need to do to fix this mess. Right now, I think a lot of people are fighting an endless war. Stop fighting in the current, a pointless war, rather. Stop fighting the current narrative and blow the whole thing up. You start from scratch. I'm going to take this quote from Angry Man because Angry Man said it. The worst of us have outbred the best of us. There is no way I have ever been at work. I've been an analyst. I've been a director. I've stared at numbers. There is no way something can have a 70% problem and be fixed in its current state. Nobody could ever say this project, this product, this service is failing at a rate of 70%. That's the single motherhood rate in the black community and be fixed. Blow it up and start anew.
You couldn't compare that to an economic collapse or a recession?
Say that again.
You couldn't compare that to an economic collapse or a recession, like Obama inheriting the administration that he did. Like, it was fucking up. It was on the way down. We recession. We was losing everything. It's not give it up. It's start to improve. Start to inject stimulus.
Okay. Let me put it this way.
Economic development.
The white people are in a recession. Black people are on life support.
Whose responsibility is it for us to advance out of life support to something better?
The only people that can do it are the men. Now, let's look at the solutions. I got you, Balance. I see you in there. I look at the solutions because here's the real the bad part about men. Black men still love black women. Actually, you can't stop messing with them if we really
marry them the highest.
Exactly. Men, it's very hard to get men of a certain ethnic group to stop messing with the women in their ethnic group. But what you see now is the solution actually happening. Because our women are so terrible, you have to make their behavior undesirable. And sometimes that means choosing somebody else. Because it only take about, I think Kevin Samuel said, 10% of women defecting, joining what's called the new traditional woman movement. Being that Proverbs woman we talked about yesterday, where it's like, yes, I have the job. Yes, I have the degree, but my family is most important. It only takes 10% of women to do that.
Let me go out to your trick when you finish.
Because we're black. You know it gotta look cool. We gotta sell it. It gotta look cool for us to do it. It only takes 10% of women to look absolutely amazing doing that. And the rest of them gonna fall in line. Well, maybe, in fact, fellas, let me be real with y'all. This stuff is already working. Do you not realize 5 years ago, we couldn't even get women to say out that we weren't equal? They weren't even, they were like, we're all equal. Now they're like, well, if men are the leaders, I'm sorry, they wouldn't even say men were the leaders in their homes. They weren't able to say that on YouTube, on panels. They said men were not the leaders. We're equal. We stand beside you, not behind you. That's what they were saying 3 years ago. I ain't heard that on a panel in years. They say, well, if men are the leaders, then. Have y'all noticed that?
Yeah.
It's already working. It's just that our voice was absent. We here now, ladies.
Hey, let me say this to you.
Hey, John, let me jump in after you.
CEO. I'm gonna make a couple of assumptions. You correct me if I'm wrong. I take it that you're a young man, right? You look probably a little bit younger.
40 years old. I'm 40.
Okay, 40. Okay, so we're about the same age. So maybe what I'm hearing when I hear sometimes when I think you're an intelligent guy, really I do. Probably a lot smarter than I am, intelligent wise, and just and you know what you want, you know what you believe. I think when I hear you talk though, I hear you wrestling with that we need to save society. And when I hear that, it's like my thing is, in my 48 years of living, I've decided society can't be saved. My job is only to cooperate with those who want to cooperate with me. So if that means some women and kids got to die off, because it's not my job to save the world. Now it's my job. If you want me to save you, if you want me to help you, if you're willing to cooperate with me, follow my leadership, I'll fight for you to the end. But I can't fight for somebody who refused to follow me. And you have to make that choice. Every woman that wants to be attached to a man has to make a choice. Do I want this man to fight for me? If I want him to fight for me, I need to submit to his authority, his leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And now, if you disagree or disagree with that, if you agree or disagree with that, let me know.
I believe that we give ourselves more options than we really have. As Black people, we live and die as one. You know, we are all we got. For instance, if I teach a certain type of discipline within my household, but I have to understand if I have not taken care of or control of my community, education, and everything, that I'm competing against the.
But you're not. Hold on, I'm gonna cut you off. You're not addressing what I said though.
What exactly do you want me to address?
Like, do you agree that it is your job to save humanity if humanity doesn't want to follow you?
No, it's not. It's not my job as a Black man to save humanity. It's my job to do all I can to save my race, my family.
Okay, hold on. Let me say it again. What if your bloodline does not want to follow you? Is it your job to save them?
Yes.
Okay, that's all they need to know.
Well, even with that, it's like, and you know, DNP, I do respect where you're coming from. It's just the fact of like, we're talking about rebuilding. You can't rebuild this. You can't.
Have no option. We have no option. You guys are giving yourselves options we do not have.
Well, hold on. But even with that, though, like, let's just be real. Why are we limiting ourselves? Like, respectfully, so why are we limiting ourselves? Because it's like what you're talking about. I'm not looking at it because the way my mind works, I'm not looking at it as rebuild. I'm looking at it as toothpaste. And when it's out the tube, it's out the fucking tube. And the only way you can get more toothpaste is to go get some. Go get a new one. And that's how this is right now. Like a lot of the sisters who have disgraced us and have moved away from us because of the BS like feminism, they're toothpaste out the tube. We can't get it back. Unfortunately so. And I do hear what you're saying. And like I hope that it can work. I really do. It's not looking good.
And I would, just to caveat, just to pivot there too, I would say that people need to get out of this whole, respectfully, CEO, we need to get out of this mindset of, oh, this is my quote unquote family, bloodline, or whatever, color, race. Screw that. I have best friends that are more tighter with me than blood family members. Why? Because they're going in the same direction that I'm going in. They stand for the same things that I stand under, which is good moral values and so forth, and bettering ourselves, leveling up, and respecting our families, our household, having that groundwork. people, some of the times, the people that are closest to you, hey, if they're not in the same direction that you're going in, and they don't want to follow that, then hey, kick rocks, abandon ship.
To
If
me,
they,
that's
they,
to
they
me
have
that
they have the
sounds like a
choice.
to me that sounds like a real lack of knowledge of what government and administration is. You manipulate the population, you control the population, you execute marketing plans and strategies, processes, procedures, you implement policies. You don't say if the population isn't doing exactly what I wanted to do, fuck it. No, it's your population. You must take control and you must advance, you must develop, you must improve.
How can you take control of something you never had control over, though?
Correct, but you're gonna align. You're gonna align in that strategy that you're having. You're not just gonna choose people that are anti your policies, as anti your organization. You're gonna choose the people that are gonna fall in line with that same tactic that you have, because you understand as a military person that if you enable a strategy, if you make something to for a long term outcome, and if you choose the wrong people to go in that same strategy, it's gonna blow the heck up in your face, and you did absolutely nothing with what you wanted to do. You have to get people that are aligning your program, that want to go in the same direction that you want to go with, and that's the way that it's gonna work. But if people don't want to go into that program, then you shouldn't allow them to be into your program, because this is gonna blow it up in your face, and then you're the one that's gonna be held accountable because you're the one that allowed it.
It sounds like people are saying that you don't believe that you, just like your women were once one way, and a man was able to come up with a plan and a strategy to get your women to do something else. You're saying that you are not equal to that man. You don't have the ability to execute your own propaganda, to execute
No, that's
your own
that's
plan.
that's not what he's saying. That's not what he's saying. That's not what he's saying.
But let me
What
finish
he
saying it just so everybody hears what I said, though.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? That man was able to take your women, just like the snake in the garden. He was able to take your women with their mindset and convince them, manipulate them, and control them and to behave another way. Why don't you believe that you have the ability to take your women and manipulate and control their mindset to get them to behave another way?
I'll tell you one reason.
Let me tell you why.
Sometimes you need certain things to actually expose the wolves amongst the sheep. Sometimes you need certain things to expose them, and those certain times, those things that come into the line of fire, into your strategy, it just exposes people for who they really are. Things amplify people. Things don't change people. They just amplify who they already are. And sometimes they just need a good something in the circumstances to expose who they truly are.
And CEO, CEO, another thing is, I don't want to manipulate anybody to do anything. I want you to voluntarily follow me. I want you to look at me and decide, man, this guy know what he's doing. He's in charge. I need to hook my life to him.
But it's not.
I want you to choose.
Our order in the court. Let me get to these super chats, then we're gonna get to the last. That's a funny day. The last African. You know, it's hella people over there. You ain't the last one, but let me get to these super chats. J. Marie, $10. If Hillary became president, her political male colleagues would sabotage her position and weaken the nation from the inside out. They question her ability to lead and knowledge. I'm not sure I disagree, but I don't know if it would weaken the nation. Like, yeah, there are men who would be like, I ain't listening to this. That's just the way men are. I'm sorry. Once you posture a man like a man, and then you overcompensate your authority over him, and then he just wakes up one morning and be like, I'm a man. Yeah, you're done for, ladies. So,
like, real quick, not to go too long, but just on that one comment she made when she said weaken, if the woman gains the power of authority and the men are already trying to doubt her and disbelieve her and go against her, that is going to weaken us, because even if we don't believe it or we don't like she's a woman, once she becomes president, we need to get behind her just as if she was a man.
Well, that's the byproduct of democracy. So, yeah, you can vote against her and still lose, but at some point you're going to realize, like I said, there's other ways to usurp power. Well, America is still a young nation. We acting like we're doing something, but we still young. Empires are falling. Okay, so it's just that we're dumb enough to do certain things that we're not supposed to do, and we're gonna see the nature of man come out. Because, like we said, you give a woman power, it's the power that corrupts, and then you try to lord that power over men, you're gonna find out the nature of men. So,
and understand that this country did go through a civil war. They didn't give up on it. They fought it and they worked it out.
That is true.
This gender war is like a civil war. You don't give up on it or walk it away because we're fighting each other. We work it out.
That could be true. Yeah. Clement Gray, $5.
But
man. Cap on husbands don't lead. Wives in most cases refuse to follow husbands' leadership. Answer to that problem wives. Peter 3:1. Hey, that is true. And I think to your point, DMP, that's actually what's going on right now. When you're talking about a man taking a woman's, let her go. If her mind is gone, let her go. I think it's kind of showing that, we want to get back at people like, no. One thing that has never happened in history, I don't think, is that when you turn a woman against her man, that woman is going to choose. Like, you gave a woman the idea of power against the man. Isn't that what the Great Society did? Right? It said money or man. Nobody in history ever chose provision by themselves. Single motherhood over parenthood, or two parenthood. No, nobody ever did that. But Western women did. So that's why I'm like, let them go if they want to go. There are other women around here.
The most masculine energy that ever existed, which is God, never begged and manipulated anybody to follow him.
Dang, that's powerful and true. Clement Gray, $2. Love isn't love unless it comes with accountability. That is true. Clement Gray, $2. Timothy 3, read to CEO, saving community comment. I don't have the Bible readily available. I'm sure John the Baptist does.
First Timothy 3.
You don't have it. Your name isn't John the Baptist anymore.
First Timothy 3:1 deals with the bishops and the qualification of being a husband.
Okay, so you're just gonna read it off the top of memory like that?
Being an elder, right?
I stand correct.
Yeah, being an elder, right? The qualifications of being an elder.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
The last African. Every time I say that, I'm a laugh. What's going on, my man? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, brother? Well, let me just say that in the battle for winning our women, taking on that task, we have to, as men, join it with something else. And we talking about preserving the lives of younger men behind us. One of you said something about we owe it to young men. Now, to show Black women something that they need to see is a force of power, something that DMP was saying earlier about a military mindset, that discipline that we need to come together as men, protect our communities. If women start to see these type of acts from men, then they will respond, and that would show you, they would put that down and say, we have confidence in our men now. They don't have any respect or confidence in us, but we're not doing it. In the mind of men, we're not doing this. We shouldn't show this for response from women, but to save our young men and to show them that they are not who society says that they are, because we are dying. We have a bigger issue, and it'll serve a dual purpose. Saving ourselves will in turn give us the confidence. Put the women will abandon that campaign.
No, they won't.
No, they won't.
Hold on, real quick. So my only response to that. So that is the obvious response. That's what we hear a lot in the space. They're saying, men, step up, do all of this stuff. But we got to remember that Black men especially are not doing as bad as Black women claim they are. We're not. We don't have the amount of children they say we do. We don't. They are literally following and creating a narrative about us that isn't true. What needs to happen is the powers that be need to get out of the way. They gave them a choice and are currently giving them a choice. I can literally do everything right. Everything. I can marry the woman, have her birth my children. I can buy her a home. But the power told her she can take my kids from me after I did everything right.
Okay.
Men are not here screwing up the way women say we are.
And that's why I was disagreeing a little bit on the last African. Like, my apologies for cutting you off because I do want to hear what you have to say. But it is like we're saying, okay, we just do this if we just do this, if we just do this. We've been doing that. Look at Kevin Samuels. He was doing that. And what did they do? They discredited him. They disrespected him. They labeled him as misogynistic, as a woman hater. And you do see men out here doing good things. You do see
Yes.
black men out here doing good things, but it's not respected. It comes from a place of entitlement. That's what you should be doing. That's what you should be doing. And exactly. You gotta do the hands. But it's like it's sort of like what happened with Will Smith at the Oscars. Like black women was like, that's what you're supposed to do, Will. Hit that bitch nigga. That's what you're supposed to do. Hit his ass. And but it's like men saw it, was like, whoa, Will. What was that?
I don't. My bad, Relentless. Let me cut you
Oh
off.
no, you go ahead. You go ahead. I'm gonna listen.
So I think what I just said, I tried to say this in the most simplest ways I could. The most masculine energy in the world is God. And he still does not make people follow him. And what I keep hearing the last African say, he's repeating the same he keep repeating the same thing that CEO was talking about. And I respect you as men, but I'm trying to get you guys to see is, if God can't make us follow him, what do you think a woman's going to, what do you think wait a minute. A mere man I don't come close to what God is. Why do y'all keep thinking that men are more powerful than God?
I'm going to use that one, John the Baptist.
I'm use wait a minute. You said Jesus, right? Can I say something? You said Jesus. Luke, I think Luke 22. If you let those of you who don't have a sword sell your cloak and buy one. Right? That's saying sell your cloak. That's your coat. Be naked, but be armed. Be ready. Jesus said this to the disciples before they came and took him off. But
that verse what you just quoted has nothing.
Wait a minute. People. Some people conflict. We can hear the same scripture, right, and get a different message. Jesus was a zealot. John the Baptist was a zealot. They was around. They was stabbing Romans, and they was killing them in the crowds, and then blending in with the crowd. Right.
I'm not sure where you're going with this. I'm not sure where you're going with this. At Last Africa, I'm not sure where you're going with this, because you're not.
You might distort religion. Wait a minute. You might take that religion. That's one thing that's going to divide us. Don't be anything but black. Be black, buy black, and think black.
Right? That's where your argument goes wrong right there.
No. It's not an argument, brother. It's an expression. You should think about. Right, we dying out here. Black men are dying. Black boys and children are dying, and we sitting back talking about women. Right, we talking about women
because they are part of the problem. That's why they are part of the problem.
You know how black children are dying. You know where? In the abortion centers. When you stop putting women to go into those abortion centers, a lot of black kids will actually live.
I don't see nobody getting murdered.
When
the brothers that get murdered don't look like you.
No.
The brothers that get murdered don't look like you.
Listen.
The young men that get murdered don't look like you.
That's fine. That's totally fine. But that's fine. My color. Listen. My color and my race has nothing to do with the fact
it doesn't. But your argument,
lower class communities.
Your argument does.
Try to keep it professional, man.
My color and my race as a Latino has nothing to do with the facts that in lower economic places they have a lot of abortion mills and everything, and they target specific classes. Okay, right. And majority of the classes that they target is blacks, and then after that comes Latinos, right? And if a lot of women will stop going to these abortion mills, maybe we will have a lot of more children that are alive today. So most men need to put a stop to that, because our fight is also against weak men. Strong men is in a battle against weak men, but they also into a fight with this feminist movement, right? That these women have believed this lie. So we need to put a stop to those type of things. That's why
CEO's analogy about this being a civil war between men and women doesn't make sense to me, respectfully. So because it's strong men, weak men, feminists, anti-feminists, black, light skin, dark skin, whatever. So it's not a civil war; it's anarchy.
Back then, when people saw an issue with society and so forth, or having an issue with their land, you know what they did? Men went out to war and fought and conquered and battled and put things back straight in line. Now we can't do that now because why? Because we're more civilized, we're more proper and everything. So now the war is in our minds. Now we have to train our children to get into spaces, right, that have an influential capability and put them in positions of power. How are we gonna do that if if women are not falling in line with us men that we're supposed to be leaders? We need to, adapt a culture that we're teaching our young men. Stop aborting our children, get married, have babies, and teach them the correct way so they can go into the position of power. Forget Burger King, forget Taco Bell, forget this stuff. Go into politics, be a judge. Control the laws in your culture, in your own neighborhoods. Be a part of your neighborhoods. Take out the abortion centers out of your neighborhoods. First, we start doing that, then I think we can have an actual conversation on how to actually fix this crap. Because literally, just abandon ship right now if nobody's willing to take up arms.
You want to know the truth? The truth is, you want things to change.
I think Trey if his daughter is, he might have something.
I'm sorry.
No worries. Y'all already know what time it is. Y'all seen the time. If now every day, you know how I do it.
If rush hour around here. You know when it's gonna change. It's shit gonna change when this shit is gonna solve a problem. Is when they start drafting women into the army.
Oh, I can't wait. You hit it.
When that day happens, I promise you, you're gonna see so many women talking about it's not fair. So again, why are we helping? That's why I say, why are we helping women that don't want to be helped? Help the ones that do want to be helped. Help the ones that do want to help the ones that want to move forward and create something and not keep living in this fucked up land that we living in. Because we keep blaming men. We keep blaming the shit that what's going on and saving young black men. But it starts with the women at home first, and we gotta acknowledge that a lot of shit that they've been saying about black men are a lie. Most of them lies they was basically talking about themselves. Like there was just a stat that just came out that black fathers are the best the best fathers out of all races. That's recent.
How much time we got, Trigger? I wanted to say a couple things.
So when even when the fathers that's not in the home, they're still considered the best fathers. Like the weekend dads and stuff like that, they do more with their children than any other race. So it's like we know what the problem is. Why don't we just deal with the solution of just cutting these fuck ass females off? Excuse my language, and just deal with the real ones. Like you got women on here talking about, I think married men should help other single mothers, and I'm sitting there like, hold on. I'm sitting there like, hold on. You mean the single mothers? Now, if it's different if it's a mother who I'm talking about, who I support, that's actually out here doing their thing. But are we talking about the majority of mothers that go out here and talk shit about these fuck ass dudes and then go right back to having 3-4 more of their kids and then
the only single mothers that were helped, mothers that were helped were the widowed or the husband died during a war.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I can see that, but the ones that's out here just you gotta take me as is. I got 3-4 kids by 3 or 4 baby daddies, and all of them is gangbangers, and they all went to prison and all this other shit. You can go kick rocks. I'm not dealing with you.
Ain't nobody helping them. Ain't nobody saving them.
But people are saving them.
Hold on. Men of value. I'm talking about men of value.
Men of value. Yeah.
First off, this is actually the funniest part about these discussions. When we have these discussions about what men need to be doing, people need to take a look at what men of value are actually doing. Men of value ain't never participated in none of this stuff, ever. We always talking about the 50% that get divorced. What about the 50% that aren't? These people just chilling. These people just looking at us talk. These people just looking at us talk like, what kind of world they living in? Jesus,
it drives me nuts, yo.
Like, that's true.
Yo,
it drives me nuts because it's like I hear like I'm sitting there listening to these dudes and the females too, and I'm just like, What kind of people are y'all hanging around? You trying to tell me y'all ain't never seen a husband and wife? Y'all
Single
ain't
women
never
keep
seen a
women
good,
single.
So we
Good.
got
you
to
know what
get to
I'm
the
saying?
last
Like,
question.
I've been married.
Trucker Hill.
I've been married for 27 years, and one of the things I've learned whenever you lead a wife or lead a family or lead a business, anytime you lead anything, period, one of the first things you have to learn is what to let go and when to let it go.
right.
Because if you don't get rid of things that will sink your ship, it will sink your ship. And that's one of the hardest things that men have to do is learning when to cut stuff off. Because if it will detract you from the bigger goal and vision that is before you. You can never lose sight of the vision. And I'm speaking from a spiritual aspect. What God has for you is more important than anything else. And so if people don't buy into that vision, will you lose your relationship with God for just to
I
make
agree
some other
with you,
woman
bro.
happy?
I
when
agree.
it
Yep.
comes to the hierarchy,
All
when
right,
it comes to the
fellas,
rank,
I
go
got to
ahead,
go.
brother.
So we got to get to this last
Oh,
question.
all right.
1
See
minute
ya.
or less. All right. So we're going to start with CEO DMP. Is a female-led society good for our future? Why or why not? 1 minute or less.
No, it's not. And it's not good for our future because women kind of are self-serving. They don't necessarily know how to compete with men, which is requirement to see a future. We're going to have to survive and succeed against competitors, against enemies and stuff. They don't have the mindset for it. The current mindset of our women, they don't seem to be focused on legacy. They seem to be more about focused on consumerism. So there's a lot of reasons, but that's just not the role or position for women.
That's a big one. Legacy is, yeah. I agree with that assertion. John the Baptist. Is a female-led society good for our future? Why or why not?
No, it's not good for our society because a female-led society not prepare men to be leaders of the world and the leaders of their families and the leaders of society. Female-led society destroys the psychology of young men that cannot tell their mothers and their daughters and their women in the society when they're wrong. They need to fall back in place. Female-led society will not let a young man correct them because the females themselves are not held account. They don't like accountability. So simple answer to that question, no, they are not good. It's not good for female lead society.
Got you. JC, what you got?
I'm gonna go with the Scottish reformer. Whoever reads Reformed theology, if you know John Knox, you know. And the title of one of his books is called "The First Blast of the Trumpet Against the Monstrous Regiment
Yes.
of Women." That
Mm.
title right there blew the lid off in Scotland when he wrote that book, saying that it is against the scriptures that a woman should be in position of power or leadership over a man, not only inside of a church, but also for a nation as well. And this is a man that God used to freaking thunder Scotland in the way that he was preaching. This guy changed lives. Again, his name is John Knox. So I will stand with him.
I'm gonna check that out.
John Knox. John Knox. I'm gonna check that out. John Knox.
Relentless. Is a female-led society good for our future? Why or why not?
It is not if it's coming from a place of self-serving. Um, I agree with. I forgot who said self-serving. I think it was CEO. But if it's coming from a place of self-serving, selfishness, and revenge, absolutely not.
Okay. The last African. Is a female-led society good for our future?
Well, of course not. I agree with the rest of the gentlemen in the panel. I want to apologize to Brother JC and any other everybody. I love all races of people. I just take the execution of black men very seriously. And one thing I will say about this female-led society, when you are confronted by an outsider and you would rather fight your woman about the intruder rather than confront the intruder. That's what's happening. I'm there.
Respectfully.
And much respect, last African. I just want to, accept your apology, man. No worries. I know when these conversations happen, I mean, we're passionate about this, right? That's why I don't let things like this get to me in a personal level, with anger or anything. Even when I was talking to CEO, you last African, is that we're very passionate about this. We love our people. We want to see people win. We want to see society better. You know what I mean? So I know the intentions when we have these type of conversations. So salute to y'all.
Salute to
All
you,
right.
brother.
Bet. Trucker Yale. Is a female-led society good for our future?
Hell no, it ain't good for our future. We got too many selfish ass women. They ain't selfless. And then on top of that, it's just like Granville said something to me the other day that a lot of women um, can hold the guy who say like for my instance, who I am now could have been me at a very young age, but a lot of women hold that child up to move forward. So I don't think it's. I think that would be a very bad idea. I mean, we already seeing what we seeing some of the results, just a tip of it. So
Yep.
you know, I mean, we can't. You can turn on whatever you turn on. You can go outside. You can go to the grocery stores. You can see how bad it really is out here. So no, I don't agree. I don't agree at all.
All right. I'd like to thank the panelists today on this topic. Please feel free to stop by tomorrow. I think I already did it. Do men care if their woman makes more money? Something we can really, I want all the fellas' opinion on this. All right. Yeah.
What time?
It'd be 10:30 Central, 11 between those two times.
When?
All
Tomorrow?
right, so get your answers ready. Because they think we actually we're gonna spell it out tomorrow for you. All right.
All right.
I'm gonna ask my wife if I can borrow $1.
Cool. All right, y'all. This is a Trigger Mike show. If you have not already, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button at the bottom. Hit that bell for notifications as well. Even though the conversation was excellent today and it's over now, I want you to share this out to everybody in your Instagram chat. Share this in your Facebook news feed, on TikTok, and all your social platforms, even in your personal group chat. Share the Trigger Mike show out so people can also partake in this conversation. Leave comments on it. Let them know that they can leave comments after the broadcast is over with, because these topics are important. We get to the bottom of it on the Trigger Mike show. Now, how do I feel in general? That last question I asked, is a female-led society good for our future? I'm not even gonna be long-winded. No. Unfortunately, women cannot uphold the requirements needed to build strong men. We've seen that in certain communities where women rear the children by themselves. Women cannot uphold the requirements needed to build strong men. Without strong men, your nation falls, period. There is no other course to be concluded. Without strong men, your nation fails. All right. Get to these super chats. Thanks, CEO. J. Marie, $2. I appreciate that. Clement Gray with Pedal Rattlesnake. No to women. No. I would not pedal rattlesnake at all. All right. Tonight, you got the big one. All right. The Lapeef Let's Talk show is tonight. I don't think there's a thumbnail for it yet, but that show will be coming on tonight. Stay tuned. Hit that bell for notifications so you can get notified when the big Lapeef Let's Talk show comes on tonight. Hit that like button on the way out. We appreciate you here tomorrow. Everybody that tunes in tomorrow, it will be Casual Friday. So be prepared to be fly and let me know what you're wearing. We're all going to describe our outfits, where we got them from. It's going to be a super hype Casual Friday. It's been another hot show for you. Catch y'all tomorrow, where the topic will be, do men care if their woman makes more money? Something of the sort. All right, y'all. I'm out.